Okay, so let's start with a quick requirement gathering, IRCTC. How many of you actually gave it some thought that, okay, we are doing IRCTC today, what will be the requirements? Anyone gave it a thought? No? Hello, I will need more people to be active. Last class of the week, come on.
Yes, first of all, we just open the IRCTC portal, putting our credentials and searching for booking
Think for
from.
booking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then after that, we are looking for particular date and train for specific source to destination.
Then?
If we found, then we will pay for it. Otherwise, like cancel and वापस चले जाएंगे वहां से.
So this is actually user flow, no? Requirement gathering questions would be what all type of convenience do we want to allow, like buses, flights, trains, and that would be the first.
So that should be the first thing that you should start from. I am writing on the next page. The first question you should ask, because see, IRCTC is huge. Okay. So, okay, first thing should be who is the actor? Are you going to think about admin also? So admin will have what rights? Admin will have, say, rights to add trains, cancel trains, update maybe some train is going late, then what is the status, or add hotels and all of that. So are we doing for actor? Are we doing for customers? Or who else can be the user in IRCTC? Anyone else who could use IRCTC?
Promoters. So there's a ads portal.
The partners who deliver food in the trains.
Right. Also, they could be like hotel partners and all of that also. I don't know how many of you have actually used IRCTC frequently, but IRCTC has become sort of Make My Trip. Now there are itineraries also. There are basically, you could do other sort of bookings as well, right? I'm not sure if there are hotel bookings as well, but there are itineraries. So I think everything is there, like from taxi booking, bus booking. So let's say that there is everything. Okay. So there is an actor. First, we choose actor. Suppose we are doing for customers and maybe admin also. Okay. Second thing, it is not just about trains anymore. Whenever we think about IRCTC, trains come to our mind. But suppose we could be designing for, say, bus. Or what else? Suppose we also have to take care of hotels. What else? Taxi. What else?
Special trains for travels like
Light.
Airplane.
What did you mean by special trains?
स्पेशल ट्रेन होता है ना, मतलब जैसे जयपुर वगैरह में जाती है, स्पेशल ट्रेन होती है वहाँ पे, लाइक पैकेजेस होते हैं, तो वो तीर्थ यात्रा में जाते हैं ऐसे कुछ.
Okay, so travel packages, cool, travel packages. Or say even like holiday itineraries. What is the spelling of itinerary? Cool. Then, okay, then obviously these are the common things that we do, right? What else do we do?
So do we have train and hotel management for an admin?
Let's say we have. Let's say our main focus is on train, but say we want to support that our system should be extensible.
Quick question. Are we designing for, we're designing for both admin and customers, you said, right?
Mainly for customers, we can see that what all things can we do for admin also.
Okay, got it.
Passenger information. We need to fill passenger information.
Sorry?
Passenger information.
Passenger information.
Yeah.
So when we select train, we enter basically passenger information.
So travel insurance while booking tickets.
Yep.
And opting for lunch or something.
Yep.
First class, second class.
Available seats. Before that, we check is it for Tatkal or general booking we're doing.
Yep. Also, you can choose your preference that you want, say, side, upper, or lower, which one you want, right? So seat type, compartment type.
Berth, side berth,
Yes.
lower berth.
So what is your preference? You can choose, and depending on that, they will assign to you, right? So the system has to assign to you accordingly. So all of that also you have to do. Cool. More or less, I think everyone has an idea that, okay, these are the requirements. But before we actually start the design, before we start designing, there is one exercise that I want all of us to do. It will take around half an hour, 15-20 minutes, I guess, at least. This is not how we do usual designing, but this is to show you a point. Okay, so this is a different sort of exercise. So how many design patterns have we done so far?
18.
18. So let's do one thing, because IRCTC is such a complex, such a huge system, right? There are so many parts to it. Let's see, can we apply all the design patterns in like one of the other modules, sub-modules, where all can we apply which all design patterns? Can we have such a discussion? So it will be sort of a revision also for all the design patterns, plus you will get an idea that in a complex system, you could actually use all the design patterns. Does it sound good?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So what was the first design pattern that we did?
Factory design pattern and singleton.
Factory. Okay. So
Simple.
factory, can we use factory over here? Like anywhere? Do you guys think I can use factory?
Maybe like different kind of ticket for different kind of tickets, whether it's the car ticket or some kind of.
Right. What
For
else?
different of seats.
Yes. So the
Type of
seats are
train.
similar objects, but then while creation, maybe something will be different, right? So maybe you can do while creation of different seats. Yes. What else?
What he
Train.
uses?
Type of trains.
Train.
Type of
trains.
type
Correct.
of meals.
With the help of train code, we can design factory.
Yep. Yep.
We could also take right now trains and cars.
Yep. So say vehicle or transport type, right? So it just
Type.
doesn't have to be trains. It could be, say, while you're creating, you could say not just create train, you could also create, say, a taxi or hotel or anything like that. So basically anything which will be serving the purpose. But okay, cool. What else?
Is there anything that cannot be created using factory? Because I think factory can be applied to everything. I think we should start thinking apart from factory, what else can be used? For example, for tickets, maybe prototype pattern. So you just clone and just change the name.
We will go to all the design patterns one by one. Relax. We'll go to all the design patterns one by one. Yes, you are right. We can use factory in almost all cases, right? The point of this exercise is to make you realize that in LLD interview, at least you will never be stuck. If nothing else, you can use factory or singleton or something. You can write the code for it. That is my point of making you realize that in a complex system, you can use design patterns. Okay. See, like for example, ticket. Right now, we are saying we can use it for creation of different types of tickets. Now, what are the kinds of tickets? Do we really need factory? Do we really need, suppose, so if you're saying like this, there will be a ticket base class and then there will be derived classes, right? Types of tickets. What are the types of tickets that are there?
Second AC.
Tatkal ticket.
Premium
ticket.
Premium Tatkal.
Premium Tatkal. Okay, so yes, we agree that we can use this, but do we really need factory? Do we really need different classes? We could just keep like a type inside the ticket itself.
Also, ticket would be an attribute of your vehicle type, right?
Can we use the
So
enum?
basically, a ticket is an object. So you'll have different kind of tickets for airplanes, different kind of tickets for different kind of conveniences.
That you could do. That okay. So if it's a ticket, so if you're creating a ticket, like is it a flight ticket or is it, say, a train ticket? Then I guess the creation process is different, right? Then it makes sense. You do
But
like
here we can make a interface prototype, right? In which we can have a prototype of flight ticket, prototype of train ticket, and bus ticket. So copy paste.
Again, let's go design pattern wise for now. That is the exercise. Yes, we can discuss. Yep.
If we keep types, then we cannot extend that. If the new tickets type is introduced, then we cannot easily extend it.
Yes. Yes. So you should have correct reasoning for everything. So suppose I'm your interviewer and I say that you are doing useless stuff. Why do you need different types of classes? This is the reasoning that you will give, that tomorrow if there is a new type of ticket, I can seamlessly add it. I will follow OCP. So that is why I would like to use factory, right? You should be able to give good enough reasoning for everything. I guess more or less everyone has understood that we can use factory everywhere, right? Yes, creation of
So
objects.
basically, even suppose IRCTC started with train, but say in the future we anticipate some other types. So in that case, we want to keep it extendable, right?
Yep. Okay. What was the next design pattern that we did after factory?
Singleton design pattern.
Abstract
Factory. I am missing factory method. But why am I missing factory method? Because it is more or less the same thing, same use cases. The way you implement it is different, right? So simple factory or factory method. You guys should be telling me that which ones did we do? Okay, abstract factory, where all can we use over here?
For example,
Probably for the creation of seat and ticket, like we will have seats different, ticket different, but we will have same type. So for premium customers, or for normal customers or general customers, like that.
You are creating a family of similar objects. So what is
I think we can have tickets and vehicle for that, like different tickets, Tatkal and premium if Tatkal that was discussed, and for if the vehicle type is different for different tickets, something like that.
I did not get
I
it.
think,
So what is your...
like, for example,
So there are
like,
categories of trains, right? Super fast express, it could be a passenger. And we also have a classification in the ticketing system where there is a senior citizen, there is general, sleeper, AC, Tatkal, all these things. So we can use their
Okay, so I opened these. This is what we had discussed in the class. So what will be the classes? If I am saying, so what will be the classes? So what sort of seats are you creating?
can we do like this? Like, suppose we have a train and flight, and for flight there is a different ticket, and for the train we have a different ticket. So we can have a like abstract factory where we can like create
But then
tickets.
the classes in trains and factories are usually different, right? So it seems like we are trying to fit in.
Yeah, okay. So for package tours, let's say that you need a train reservation, you need a hotel reservation, and you need a vehicle reservation also for taxi. And there are two categories, say premium and standard. In that case, it could be a family of classes where you get premium tickets. I mean for the train and all, and standard category. So in these cases, you will have these three objects what you get back, or interface, like a hotel, a vehicle, and taxi, and a train. So it will be sleeper or something like this. So this is one thought I have.
Cool. Okay, sounds good enough. I'll tell you a common use case that I have thought of, and I've actually coded this also, so I can show you in IRCTC this part. So I considered the payment because it is going to be there in literally all the systems. So that's why I wanted to show you payment. I'll let you know that how I have done. So basically there is a payment factory. And then now in the starting, suppose admin can set that there is, say, PhonePe factory and say Razorpay factory. So tomorrow, say if there is someone else that comes, suppose PayPal comes, so you can add another factory, right? And all of them have to support what? They have to support net banking payment. They have to support credit card payment. And they have to support UPI, correct? So now what has happened is that so I will show you the code also. So PhonePe, net banking, Razorpay net banking, credit card PhonePe, and credit card Razorpay. Similarly, UPI PhonePe and UPI Razorpay. Correct? So it will be like this guy will make this. And this and this, and this guy will make this.
So what is PhonePe and Razorpay?
So this is factory. PhonePe factory, Razorpay factory.
PhonePe is something like Paytm. I'm not from India. So
Yes.
It's like payment gateway.
So not like Paytm, but correct. How do I explain? So basically, if you integrate Razorpay, like for in my site, if you think, or if the literate store, I have done PhonePe. So you can see in some places when you make the payment, no, you will see that it is happening via PhonePe or via Just Pay or something like that. So the businesses, what they do, they just integrate with Just Pay or PhonePe or Razorpay. And then internally, then you can decide that, okay, now user can decide that you want to do via net banking or via credit card or via UPI, like that.
No, I'm just curious why we have two different companies of payment gateway, PhonePe and Razorpay.
So for example, this one goes down, PhonePe goes down. What do I do? In my literate store, so I have PhonePe and Razorpay. If my PhonePe goes down, I can just switch to Razorpay. Like you can just open Razorpay and you will see so many queries that if Razorpay goes down, what do people do? So usually businesses will have two payment gateways integrated. So if one goes down, you can just set up from admin that now I want to do the payment from PhonePe.
Got it.
Okay.
And also, we cannot port.
Normally, it's online and offline, right? For IRCTC payment.
How will you do the payment offline?
Like with the help of cash. And
so that is, you would have to physically go and make the booking, right?
Okay.
No, like what is the question? Like we are talking about the software right now, right?
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So abstract factory, I guess you guys were giving the reasonings. I just told you one use case, right? So there can be multiple use cases. The point is that you can apply this somewhere in the system, abstract factory also. What was the next design pattern that we did? After factory and abstract factory.
Singleton.
Builder.
All of you just open kirtipurswanicourses.com. There's a list of like literally all the design patterns that we have done. Please open the
next one is builder.
That would be
Builder.
Builder patterns.
What is the next one that we did?
Builder.
builder.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. Builder design pattern. Where can I use builder design pattern?
Suppose you want to make like a multi-step itinerary, something like that.
Yes, very good. I also have this in mind. So suppose I am making itinerary and I have to decide that, okay, first I have to decide today's hotel. I have to decide, say, meals. Then I have to decide, say, the places that I'm going to visit. Something like that. So itinerary has these steps that you have to do these things. Now, how you do it, like suppose the way you do it in Maldives is different, the way you do it in Bali is different, the way you do it in Europe is different, but you have to do the same steps. So itinerary, like when you're creating the itinerary, these steps should be there. You should have decided hotels, you should have decided meals, you should have decided places to visit, maybe taxis. So you should have done all of this. So maybe a builder. Make sense? Hello.
Yep.
Okay. After builder, what did we do?
Prototype.
Singleton.
Prototype we did after this.
Singleton.
Okay. Singleton, we can use in a lot of places. I hope now you can tell me. Where all can I use in IRCTC? Payment gateway. So I want one, say, payment manager. So like in this, so I will actually, when I show you the code, you will see there is a payment manager over here. And then that is talking to the payment factory. So this manager will become singleton. So you want only one instance of the class, or maybe one DB instance.
Login.
Profile.
The overall application, the railway application.
Suppose the system, the facade.
Booking system.
The booking system. Yes, you want one system to do the booking, right? So basically all the controllers, all the managers, you can use singleton.
Got it.
Yep. Okay. After singleton, which one did we do?
Can you tell me this builder thing? I have a doubt in it. So like what is builder we use for building a similar type, right? What is the similar type?
Complex. It's like
similar types having complex build, right? So
So
what
we
are
have itineraries. Now itineraries could be of different kinds, right? Like suppose itinerary for Maldives, for Europe, for Bali. All of them have to have some steps. like unless, like otherwise it won't be an itinerary. Like you have to have hotels, like you have to have places to stay, places to visit, meals, taxis, travel, suppose train travel or whatever the kind of travel is, right? So these steps should have been followed, right? What do you do in builder? You give the steps. Director gives the steps, right? And this is what, not director, like there's a builder that has steps and then director actually calls these steps. Remember?
But these are not like steps, right? These are more kind of attributes, right? That these are the hotels, these are the meals inside this class.
It can also be considered as steps, right? That you first book all the hotels or the taxis or this.
We could consider the booking also, na? Like suppose if I am booking, then first I have to select date, then I have to select the seat, then the destination, then seat, like that.
Yes, yes, you could do for booking also. That
For seats also
if you're creating a booking, like creating a booking, you should have done what? You should have like checked the seat, you should have done the payment.
Vehicle type.
Marked it in DB or something like that. What else?
Type of vehicle.
No, but these are Kirti, these are like different behaviors, right? For builder, it should have like different configs.
Creational. I was thinking that maybe creating seats, creating like payment, creating.
So basically, it depends upon what is the scope of object you're treating, right? So, for example, itinerary and booking, they are bigger objects that will actually comprise of your smaller objects. So, booking will be having seats, payments.
But when you're talking about builder, we have to talk about creational. That is there, not about the structure.
Yeah, so we are talking about when I'm creating a booking, I always have to add seats to the attribute, right?
So don't you think booking would have made more sense? Like if we are building the seats, like seats of trains, seats of taxis, buses.
Kirti, I think according to me, let's say if the actor is admin and the admin is trying to add a new train or a new vehicle per se, then the creation of seats and the DB instance that will fit into the builder pattern, because there we are creating everything and attaching it so that the complete vehicle is ready. How about that example?
Yeah, similar types of payments, different configuration.
Sorry?
Yeah, this seems a better example for builder.
Okay.
Yeah, like building trains and building seats, right?
Yeah, so basically making the vehicle ready for booking, kind of.
Yep. See, you guys are now answering. I am not answering. I am not saying ki this is right, this is wrong, because I guess more or less you understand that there are different ways to do the same thing, right? Like for creational itself, you could use different design patterns, but don't force fit. Try to understand that why would you use a particular design pattern in a particular scenario. So that is why open to discussion. You tell me that why you think this is right, why you think this is wrong. Cool. Okay, so we have done factory, abstract factory, build and singleton. Yeah.
Quick question, and I don't want to really distract from the topic, design patterns and the problem at hand. And also I'm going through your HLD recordings as well, the previous batch that you have taken. Now, in this session, you're often using the term, sometimes you're using system, sometimes you're using portal, sometimes you're using application, sometimes you're using platform, sometimes you're using, like, how do you, like, do you, like, IRCTC is a system, or it is an application, or it is a platform, or it is, like, how do you maintain the consistency across the terminologies?
Okay. Okay, we are deviating from the topic. Can we pick this up later? Like, because it's a different topic, right? Can we first finish this flow?
Oh, yeah, of course. I don't
Otherwise,
know.
I'll get the feedback that I am not regulating the class properly. So let's not deviate. Yeah, we'll just.
But the question which I asked, did you cover this question by any chance in your HLD sessions earlier on, or maybe in any
I
other?
have talked about what is a system, but
it's there in the HLD, the first class, I think, when she discussed about server versus client versus server. Client server, like in that context, she mentioned all of this application system and all of this.
Okay, Kirti. Well, anyways, if you get time in this class or after this class, like if you can touch upon these terms to maintain the consistency around those terminologies.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
After singleton, what is the next one that we did?
The prototype.
Prototype.
Okay, where can we use prototype over here?
Tickets.
Sorry?
Tickets.
Kirti, for singleton, can you please repeat the facade one? Like, just want to system
So
facade.
for a
Yeah.
system, like we had done for elevator, for all of them, right? So basically we want there's a system. There is one class to which this user will always talk to, and how internally things are happening, our system is taking care of it, right? So client doesn't know that there are many classes inside. Like in chess, there was one chess game system. In elevator, there was one elevator system, right? So basically it's like a facade for the client. And internally we have like a bunch of classes, right? And then this goes, okay, you do this now, you do this now, then we decide something like this, right? There are multiple classes behind, but our client usually talks to only one class. So that is a facade. So usually you want only one instance of the facade to be there, so that only there's one instance that is responsible for talking to the client. Basically like a manager, like in Swiggy, Zomato, they can be an order manager. They can be elevator system, or they can be chess system. So those are basically singleton. Hello.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Prototype, where can we use prototype?
Adding passengers.
Seat creation, we can use prototype.
I think
Menu.
tickets.
So
Every we can use the common properties. We can clone it.
Suppose we want to repeat a trip.
We want to repeat.
Maybe the date is different, but the trip is the same. Something like that.
So we can do for train journeys, maybe. So, by the way, for IRCTC, one very important concept to understand, like in fact, for all the systems that are like these, so there is a train, okay? That suppose we know that this train usually starts from this station, say it starts from Bhopal, goes to Bangalore. Okay?
Both way booking.
But now both ways, yes, maybe it goes one way, all that is there, but also how many times it goes a week, or say, suppose it goes all 7 days. So for all 7 days, this train will have different journeys. So there's a train and there's train journey. Just remember that. This is a very important concept that I realized while designing IRCTC. So sometimes what might happen is that same train is going. So we'll think, okay, train object we can use. But for every journey, what can happen is that the time can be different. The seat allotment is going to be different. Like the seat chart is going to be different, right? Suppose in a particular train journey, like on Monday, the train was on time, but on Tuesday, the train was not on time. But say on Wednesday, it was 1 hour late. On Thursday, it was 2 hours late or something like that. You get the point, right? That for every train, there are multiple train journeys as well. Yes? Everyone understands that? Can I get yes?
Yeah, it means train number is same.
Yes, the train number is same, but there are different train journeys. Now, when we are designing IRCTC, I want you to start thinking about this. What makes sense? Like, we are not discussing it right now, but train has train journey or train journey has train? Like, I spent a lot of time thinking about this. What should be there? Train has train journey or train journey has train? Think about it. We'll discuss later in the class. Okay?
But this
train
is
journey
not
has train.
We'll discuss it later in the class, guys. Come back, everyone. Prototype. Where can we use
Adding passengers.
Sorry?
Add passenger functionality. Can we use prototype there?
So one doubt I have, like how is IRCTC managing the train journey? That it doesn't tell us, right, whether the train is late or is on time. That we do it from some other application, right? That is a whole together another system.
See, so okay, correct. Good point. So now thing is one is seeing the status. Suppose we want to see the status of the train. It is not necessary in IRCTC. So you can say that seeing the status of the train, seeing the whether it is late or not, all of this is responsibility of say another system. So there is train, rail yatra and all of that does that. You can say that IRCTC is focused only on booking. You can say that. Yes, that is correct. But still, even in booking, the seat allotment is different, right? The seat chart is different. By the way, where do we use prototype? I can see a lot of examples in the chat, but where do we use prototype?
So prototype can be used everywhere, right? So
booking, actually, if we want to replicate the booking, then
yeah.
But I think the prototype makes more sense.
Then better.
See, it makes more sense when cloning is easier than creating the new thing altogether.
Yeah.
Right? Is cloning better in, say, while you guys are saying creating seats or creating user profile or creating a booking? Like, I feel we are overfitting. For me, a better example would be again itinerary. Don't you think so?
It could also be the hotels, right? Hotels, flights, airlines,
Hotels,
basically.
flights. Basically, from admin, if you're creating something like you're creating the train for the first time or you're creating a hotel for the first time, it makes more sense. But from the customer perspective, booking a seat or creating something like that, you are not going to have such a complex creation process. I feel itinerary is the best example in that sense, because itinerary is going to have a lot of things. Like, for example, we saw in Builder, right? That there are going to be a lot of steps. So in that case, I could probably use a prototype and create a copy. What do you think?
So only in case
for
where
seats
we are
also,
saying,
sorry. So
yeah.
for seats also prototype will fit because every compartment is having, for example, 8 seats, and that is exactly cloned for the whole that coach.
True. You can say that. You can say that. But also, what are you doing while creating the seat? You're just creating like new seat. You don't have like a process.
Complex creation process.
Yeah. So you're just assigning a number to it, right? Like, I am not denying that you cannot use prototype, but is it like worth using a design pattern over there?
Can we say like while adding passengers, because the details like that are asked are pretty common.
The prototype to fill a form makes sense. Also, the prototype to say generate invoices. Suppose there are different invoices for, say, train, flight, hotel. You could use that even for taking input from the users, right? That similar kind of input you'll be taking from what date to what date. Do you want any extra add-ons and things like that? In that, you could use prototype. Yes, that makes sense.
Kirti, can we say that when a class has a lot of member variables, that's a good time to use prototype?
Instead of member variables, think like, are you doing like steps while creation? Would it be like, would copying be easier than creating a new one?
But see, I mean, you ask from efficiency point of view, because efficiency point of view, whether you do a new or you do a copy constructor, it hardly makes a difference, right? I mean, I think it is more contextual is what I'm trying to ask. Like copying a cell, cloning a cell looks contextual in code.
Yes.
Yeah.
So more of like, you don't have to do it again and again. You just say clone and you don't even have to test it again. These are more of the positives, right? That we discussed. That yes, I agree with you that in cloning also we are essentially doing the same thing and copying, but you don't have to test it because that is already tested and you know it will work and all of that. So you also have to think of this, that it is maintainable, it is extensible.
But the same can be told about factory also, right? It is if it creates one, then it can create the rest also. I mean, उस हिसाब से
in factory, what you're doing is you're creating similar type of objects, but it is not like you're copying the objects. Here you're copying the objects, but you're just changing some values. Right? Like you're creating invoices, you are copying the invoices, but then you are changing that which passenger is it for, or how much was paid, what was the list of passengers, or what was the compartment type and all of this. But you're cloning, like you are not doing all of the invoicing, like probably from the starting, that will probably add a stamp, put some more things have to be done, right? Probably like GST or things like that have to be done. So not doing that again and again. In like itinerary, there are some basic things that you would have to do. So you're not doing that again and again is the point.
Kirti, I would like to suggest one thing for prototype before we go to the next one. Can I?
Yeah, go on.
So let's say there is a train that is going from one source to one destination based on which class the ticket is booking. Let's say we are, somebody's booking a first class ticket. Usually the kind of hotels or the kind of accommodation they prefer would be in a certain set of, similar hotels, right? So we can select from that group of hotels and that group of places we can suggest for them. So the first time any particular itinerary is suggested for a first class booking, that can be copied for the next similar kind of customer who books the first class. Similarly, a second class booking can be mimicked for another passenger who books a second class.
Yep,
Can
yep.
I think like that?
Yes, you can. That's correct.
One question on prototype is it like when we have complex steps and lot of attributes, but only few will change between different instances?
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. Moving ahead, guys. We are not doing all the design patterns again. Like we are just discussing the use cases. Don't make me do everything again. Okay. Observer. Where can we use observer?
After the ticket booking is done, the mail is sent. Yeah, the same. Notification is sent.
Yes. So
Maybe if your train is
cancellation.
delayed, so we get a email or something.
Yep. Say train status, booking status, notifications. I guess observer is, I think, easy to
Availability.
understand, right?
All the notifications, yes.
And train is cancelled.
Payment and
Notification to all the
cancellation.
passengers. It is running late.
Yep. So I guess this is easier one. Okay.
Yes.
Next, what did we do after this?
Command.
Command. Very good. What did we do in command? Where can we use command over here?
For booking, we can use it, right? Means we can go back whatever steps we have followed, then we can go back and reverse.
I could. See, I thought about this a lot, that command. I thought that we are trying to force fit. So I did not find a very good use case of command in IRCTC. Like it at least did not hit me. But the example that you are saying is correct, that suppose in booking there are many steps, right? You do one step, like you choose a particular seat and then probably you choose some extra add-ons, meals, something like that. So let me just write it down. So you choose seats.
That is chain of responsibility, right?
And this is chain of responsibility. This is not, that's what I also thought of this in chain of responsibility. What are you actually keeping as command? I did not think of any good reasoning, anything that you can think of where we would need command in IRCTC.
How about waiting list, like reservation? Usually whenever we book, if there is no seat available, we are going to put our name under waiting list, right? And then they are going to assign us. So
That
the
becomes a
booking is a
strategy.
command.
can that be?
So the request is the command, is it?
Yeah, something
But
like
then
that.
why do we need it? Like the receiver is always same, the invoker is always like, okay, user. But then are we treating like somewhere we needed to behave like an object?
The example that earlier was mentioned regarding booking, won't it be easy if we consider that as command so that we can undo and redo the steps of booking while following the booking?
But to undo and redo the steps. See, command, what do we undo and redo? We undo or redo this entire command, correct? Here, like why, okay, let me just mention chain of responsibility also, because we are talking about that. So chain of responsibility, what happens is that you can decide like this, that, okay, I have done something right now. Suppose I have selected seats. Now this guy will choose, suppose for this train, that what is the next thing that has to be done? Are there any meals that have to be chosen or directly payment? Suppose there was meals, then it would have chosen, okay, this is the next handler. Then after that, this is the next handler. After this, is there anything else? Suppose, is there any insurance that is possible? Is that the next handler, or directly like say our system is the next handler? Get my point? So it is not one command. Like when do we use command? Command is like, for example, we have save. So we treat all saves and then we can undo that. Okay, save. Or suppose we did in chess, right? That chess ka request, that we move chess ka piece, right? We can undo, but it is still moving a chess piece is one command that we are trying to undo. Here, the steps, the handlers are different.
So like if we want to undo and go back, like we'll have to have a chain of responsibility to backwards also, right?
Yes,
Here.
yes. So you can over here itself you can choose, no, that okay, person is pressing back. Okay, go back over here. So this guy basically, in if you remember in chain of responsibility, we also discussed that same guy can also be your next handler. Like payment, if it failed, you can have that. Okay, I'm going to try again. So the same guy can be your next handler, or if you want to go back, you can go back to say seat or meal, and that can be your next handler.
One example that I can think of for command in an entire IRCTC system would be if we enable the delivery partners. So basically, delivery partners would include not delivery partners, the pilots of the trains, the pilots of the flights, and all that stuff. So we have a notification system that we talked about to inform if we are coming late, if train is late, and all that stuff, right? So to have that flow, what we can have is, so if you see the set of commands for a driver slash pilot slash train driver, whatever we call him, are same, right? So started from this station, reached this station, getting late to this station. Those things can be encapsulated in a command.
That is just setting one status.
But why not observe a pattern for that? Because we are just broadcasting the status to these pilots, right?
Yeah, that is
In
kind of like
flights,
notification.
we also have a black box which basically stores the state. So we need to store basically this perishable operations that train reached this destination. Every destination needs like reaching a destination can be encapsulated as a command just to store it for black boxing purposes.
Okay, guys, we really need to move ahead. Like we need to finish design patterns and get to the actual design. So if you come up with more examples, tell me on Discord. Okay, need to move ahead. After chain of responsibility, what is the next one? Okay, very bad. Very bad. Okay, iterator, we can use say in view bookings, right? So we want to put bookings in an aggregate, right? Or say we want to see bookings for say a particular city or a particular train or a particular flight. Like we want to see bookings which we did for train only, for flight only, for city only. So we can have things like that, right? Different iterators for our bookings.
I think for in case of search or also when we view all the tickets, all the trains, in that case also we can like do pagination. In that case also we can use iterator there.
Yep.
Passenger list.
Listing. Basically all the listings, right? Passenger listing, booking listing. Yes, cool. Okay, you get it. Next one.
Template.
Strategy. Okay, I don't remember if I did it.
Strategy. Yeah.
Okay, strategy. What is there in strategy? We did so many, no?
I think like on the basis, like whether on the basis of gender, which particular seat the user should get.
Seat selection algorithms. So there can be different algorithms, say based on, say there is preference or how common, like, the train goes, how frequent the train is. Suppose the train is very frequent, then you want to use different algorithm. Suppose the train is not very frequent, then it is different algorithm. Or if it is going through probably tier 1 cities, different algorithm, through villages, different algorithm, something like that, correct?
Yeah.
Cost of seat booking.
I mean, all selection types.
Yeah, cool. After strategy, template. Where can we use template? We already saw, I think, this example. Tell me.
Yeah, eternity.
Sorry?
You talked about itinerary. You talked about that
itinerary
is
also. Yes. Invoices, reports, we can use, correct? Next thing. Adapter. Adapter, see, when you are, say, integrating with third party, right? Like, for example, any legacy systems you're using or any, where you have to use something that is there, like hotel bookings. Like earlier, there was no taxi booking and now you want to have it and you want to start using Uber, Ola, and they have their own APIs. It is not it is not, you can't use it together. So you adapt it. Yep, cool.
Same can be the case of like payment gateways also, Razorpay, Stripe.
Yes.
Can we also consider like IRCTC being opened in a laptop or a tab, or if it is opened in any mobile devices?
So it adapts to the UI like that.
Yeah, yes.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Composite.
Next one.
Composite.
Bridge pattern.
After adapter, I think we did decorator, right?
Decorator.
Decorator.
Decorator, where can we use over here?
I think when we select like meals.
Yes. So
Yeah, booking
basically,
seats. We
we,
can
Meal
add
or
on.
train booking.
yeah, probably we want to add taxi with our train booking or with our flight booking or something like that, right? So
Insurance
Did we
padding.
discuss observer?
yes.
Or we missed it?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Then I missed it.
Okay. After decorator, next.
Bridge.
Bridge.
Where can we use bridge? I've actually used it in
A
my
lot of
Train and
places.
train journey.
train and train journey. So okay.
Booking system and payment gateway. Both are
Payment
Yeah,
and
payment and this booking will be bridge.
Payment and booking. Okay. What else?
Hotel booking, train booking.
Yes, yes. So I've also implemented, you guys are right, and I've also implemented it in code. So just wanted to show you, at least in my UML, you will be able to see. So there is request. Request can be of different types. There can be a search request, there can be booking request, and there can be cancel request, correct? Now here what I've done is I've kept a request processor. So this is essentially my implementation and the request is my abstraction. And here there is basically search request processor. There is booking request processor. And there is cancel request processor. And this guy has this, so it sort of becomes like bridge. So while designing, I did not think that this is a good use case, but when I was designing, it started looking like bridge. So I was like, huh, good, cool. But the examples that you gave was also correct. So, okay. Next, what did we do after bridge?
Composite.
Composite. Composite, where can we like use it?
Maybe group booking. If a person selects books
So
a ticket for many
basically,
people.
you want like a group of bookings to be treated like one booking. Like you should be able to see, say, group of bookings, sky invoice, like just like that. So you can use composite. Then next are just proxy and facade. I'm not going to talk about them because everywhere you can use proxy and facade, right? Everyone agrees to that?
Yep.
Yes.
Hey, can we say this that all the matching algorithms, like the search completion algorithms, are using something that's similar to composite?
Search, sorry, can you repeat that?
Search completion, for example, I'm typing an address, right? So I type Delhi, then it gives me an option Delhi, India, or some, let's say Delhi and some other country as well. So Delhi, commerce, that country. So that's also
Using
composite
price?
use case.
When do we use composite?
I mean, can we use composite in that case?
When do
If
we
I
use composite is my question.
So when, I don't know how to explain it, but when my subclass
He's saying type
can
ahead.
be a node or can be a, what do we call that? A leaf or a node. Right? So here
You want to treat the aggregate like the individual class itself, right? Like the tree. So here, what is our aggregate?
But no, no. Okay, I got it. My bad, maybe.
Okay. Just think about it. So what are the different components in the design pattern? You know the answers. I know that you understand. Just think about it. What are the different components? What would this be? What would this be? When you think of observer, think who is the subscriber, who is the observer. When you think of builder, think of who is directing, what are the steps that are being followed. Sometimes it feels like that. Like command, we all felt that, okay, this could be command. But then we thought about it. What is a command? What are we trying to undo? Chain of responsibility, think about it. What is a handler? Who is the next handler? What decision are we making runtime, right? Ask yourself these questions and you will have all the answers. I am pretty sure.
Can you give example for proxy? Yes.
Proxy. Okay. Who will give me the example for proxy?
Auth.
A payment, like we are calling the payment gateway, but it's not exactly the payment. Like if we are doing an adding an extra layer.
So,
okay.
Good example would be user proxy that we give to the hotel service so that hotel can book for that user. So we don't have to give all the attributes. Rather, we give a
wrapper class to the hotel.
Yep. Any other good example?
Yes, I would say previously there were a lot of failures and failure bookings on IRCTC, right? So probably now they have increased the number of proxies which will act like a original IRCTC, though we are not sending that request directly. How is it correct? Or could it be a case?
Like it could be, but it is more of high-level system design proxy that you're talking about. I want the example in low-level system, the classes type, right? So
Can't we put authorization in the proxy, like protected proxy?
Auth you can say ki Any other good example that everyone
like agents, like I don't know if we are considering that, but generally like ticket booking can be done also through agents.
Can, but I'm looking for a better example in class.
Okay.
Basically, when we basically confirm a ticket, so we use a manager for it. So basically, we are changing the ticket status, but we are sending the request to the ticket manager. So would that qualify as a proxy? Because there is a middleman who is basically interacting with the ticket, and you are not directly interacting with the ticket.
You can consider it like that also, like proxy also.
I think in the case of like suppose there is a customer agent who can see a lot more information from the ticket than a normal user.
That is a proxy, yes. See, wherever you are doing some extra checks, like for example, like there is suppose in my case the request example that I said, right? Like in the bridge one. Suppose there is some extra checks that are happening over here. That is this request valid? Can the person do booking? Is it authenticated? Something like that. Then it will start acting like a proxy, right? Before actually doing the request. Like internally.
When TC validates our ticket, can it be considered proxy?
If they are validating, so basically
for IRCTC, they are validating.
You can say, but think of in terms of objects and classes.
Yeah. What if the TC have a scanner and if they scan, then it is a part of a software, right? Where they get more details. So maybe that can be considered as a proxy in that case.
Yep. Yeah.
Can we say like wherever we are using a facade, that's a proxy?
No, I don't think so.
That is just abstracting away the details.
So the purpose of facade and proxy is different. I know the purpose of proxy is so many, but can we please get back to this discussion after 11th? Because I do not want the feedback. This was, we were repeating the same things. Let's get back to this discussion at 11th. Okay, what is the difference between proxy and facade? For now, let's or we will revise or ask on Discord or one of those things. But note these things down that, okay, you're getting confused over here. The whole point is to make you think. But we also have to do IRCTC system design. So can we come over here like now? All good? Like you get some idea that IRCTC is huge. There are many design patterns that you can use. It is endless. You can obviously like drill down to one particular module and apply and work on that, right? So there are a lot of modules in IRCTC. One thing that you will notice, like how I started with this was that if I have this IRCTC system, inside this there will be multiple modules. Even in my low-level system design, there will be say a login module. There will be say a payment module. So I try to structure accordingly. So if you see the code I've structured, then there will be one booking, right? So this and this I have done end-to-end, like login, payment, you'll be able to see. I have black box, obviously, a lot of things, but then these are working. Booking is so huge that I try to do a lot of it. So let's start discussing those things, and I will show you my UML as well. Let's first discuss the train wala part ka UML. Firstly, can I get that everyone is awake? Please. It's Friday. This is chill discussion only. I am not like teaching you a lot of things. So this is like a chill discussion, right? Yep.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you. Everyone awake, right? Yes. Can we start? Yep. Thank you. Okay. So we discussed that, okay, there is a train. There is a train journey. can we quickly discuss the attributes, the things that are going to be there inside the train, inside a train journey? How is this different? So the question that I asked was that, does train have train journey or does train journey have train? Firstly, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Who has what?
Train has train
Journey, train journey has train.
Train journey has train.
Train journey has train.
What is the reason?
Yeah, train journey has train, because later on you are not going to search for the trains. You are going to search for the journeys. You need to save the journeys somewhere.
Yeah, so my thought process is also that the user is looking for a journey. He's entering a start date, end date, and then looking for a train. So
Also,
train comes into the
like,
picture later.
yeah, also like later on down the line, if you see for the like history or something for the whole journey, or not for like journey means not one journey, like for the whole year or something, you're not going to search like, okay, this train did this journey, right? Most probably you are going to search by routes or journey like that. One train journey can have multiple trains, so that way I'm thinking.
But shouldn't that be
multiple trains? No. How can one train journey have multiple trains?
No. What I mean by that is, let's say the train journey, let's say one route today has one train, and later on down the line, that route needed demand, so it became three different trains or something like that. You are not going to keep track of all different trains, isn't it? You are going to search it by journey.
For that, your train journey also has the time. So the
Can
time
you
will always
clarify
come
what does journey here means?
When we search from source to destination, then number of trains come right in the search. So in that way we can say that train journey has many trains, like from particular source to particular destination.
Okay.
Yeah, the dates can vary.
Give me one sec. See, how I thought was that, see, there is a train that goes from, say, station A to station B, but this train goes, say, 5 times a week. Okay, it goes 5 times a week. So all
five
these
journeys.
5 are different, say, train journeys. So what
Yes.
when I'm saying is, this train is, say, going on date, say, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. These are different train journeys. According to me, this should be a train journey. If you are going from place A to B using 3 trains, these should be 3 train journeys, according to me. What do you guys think?
So basically, this is the
that is
use
correct.
of history of train, right?
Yep.
So basically, train journey is a train with particular date, right?
Yes. So that is why I thought that train journey will have train. Why? Because train journey is basically a wrapper around train. So it is that, okay, this is the train, but this is my date. And this was basically my time. Suppose the arrival time was different. And this was my seat allotment or something like that. So I thought that it is a wrapper of train. And that is why I kept that train journey has train. Does my
If we
reasoning
can
sound?
this be seen as a decorator or train decorator, maybe.
See, decorator, when do you use? When you want to add on the fly, that maybe I would want to add this or that or this, and then maybe, sometimes a few of those things. But here, there's like a wrapper, and you are always going to add these things, correct?
Got it. Train journey is not a train.
Can't train and train journey have association relationship? Like if we consider that train can have multiple journeys, so have to have that access of those journeys, can't that be an association relation?
It
Yeah,
can
I
be,
was also
but
gonna say.
my thought process is why should train have access to all the journeys? Firstly,
So
why? Because
it will depend, right?
it depends on the requirements, I agree. But see, inside train, okay, let me just talk about what all things are going to be inside train and what is the responsibility of this class, right? Because we also have to follow SRP. So inside this train, there's obviously train ID, there's obviously name, then there's obviously train number and all of that. Then there is, say, stops, right? Now inside a stop, there can be multiple things, basically station name, what was the arrival time, what was the duration for which the train stops. So this is usually in a stop, correct? So it has, say, a list of stops. Oh, I've already written. So it has a list of stops. What else it has? It has compartments, correct? So if I have another class called compartment, So compartment, you can think of it like a bogie, like A1, B1, B2, like that. That is a compartment. Now inside compartment, there are seats.
Right.
So like this is like A1, B1, like that. So this is like 1, 2, 3, so on. Right? So train has compartment, compartment has seats. So now see, train already has information of like how many seats are there, how many compartments are there, and all of that. I don't see, and train journey is going to be so many. Like suppose if a train goes literally every day, 365 train journeys for 1 year, why should train have access to all of that? Like train is just like a wrapper of all the information. It's just data.
I was thinking around the part that sometimes we access the like how the train has been like it has been late or like for 7 days, last 7 days, last month, something like that. So I was thinking in that department, if we are searching for the history of the train journeys, so we should have an association relationship if we are implementing that functionality, isn't?
But
Then in
isn't
that
like
case,
like
That
just
you
to
see
add
from the
one thing,
database.
if even if you have a hazard, then also you have like association, right? I mean, it's a part of it, right? You can obviously access it also if you have a
Yes.
hazard relationship, right?
So you can access
No,
it.
that way train won't be able to access it.
So why do you want to access from train? Like you can see
I think
all the
his question is that as an admin per se, if I want to analyze the number of times a train had, I mean, the number of journeys a train has had, so that if I have a
That
service
you'll
queue
see
or
from the
something like
database.
you
that.
can get it from the stops, isn't
okay.
it?
Okay, one sec, guys, relax. Okay, so so I have these train and train journeys in my UML. There's another thing that I have. So basically, I want to store all the information of all the trains in one place and information of all the train journeys in one place. So I have two classes, which I guess you all can guess. So there is one train manager, or you can say controller, and then there is one train journey manager, right? So in this train journey manager, what is going to be there is there's say a map of there's say ID and all the journeys. So if you want to see all the journeys, or you can keep the map like that for this train, these are the journeys. Like you can keep a map like that. That train ID, you can see that, okay, these are the journeys. Here, what is there is that for a train ID, there is train ka object, right? So basically you do need, you can think of it like in memory DB, like these sort of these managers, but in reality, they will be databases, correct? So obviously you can ask from database, or you can ask this manager that what were the previous journeys and all of that. For me, I think this is one very particular use case. For that, changing your entire class relationship doesn't make so much sense. Just give me one sec. So how it is going to happen according to me is that there should be composition over here, there should be composition over here. Does my reasoning sound good to you?
So I am having one doubt here. So like you said, the train is having, let's say, 5 journeys per week, right? So that means train is having a list of journeys inside it, right? So train has a relationship with train journey, right?
No, that's what I said. Why do you want to keep it like that? So I am not saying it is wrong. I am giving you my reasoning of why I have designed like this. I have designed like this because train, I agree that it has journeys and it sounds like train has a journey. But if you think about it, you are wrapping something around train. You are wrapping what? You are wrapping some extra information, like what is the date, what was the arrival time, what were the like seat allotment on that case. And you've created a wrapper on train and created train journey.
Okay, got it.
That is why I did
Got
train
it.
journey has train. And now there is train journey manager. So if you want to access all the journeys, there is train journey manager for that. There is composition relationship. Similarly, there is train manager. So there is composition relationship between train manager and train also. So if you want to see all the trains information, you can go to train manager. Does it make sense?
Train journey manager, the ID is corresponding to the journey, right?
The ID is corresponding to the journey, yes.
So
this
like
could be journey. If you want to see for a particular train, see there are different ways. So either how you create this journey also matters, how you generate the ID also matters. Usually in real scenarios, how it is done is you will first write train ID underscores, you will give some journey ID, and from that you can easily take it out that okay, for this train. Or if you wanted, you could give like for this ID, there's suppose a pair of train ID. So train ID and journey, you could give like this. So there's a journey ID and there's a train ID, or you could do the opposite way, depending on the requirements, depending on what is more frequent for you, right? But my point is that getting all the journeys of a train should not be the responsibility of train class. The responsibility should be somewhere outside, like a train manager, train journey manager. It should be somewhere outside.
Also, I'm thinking from the perspective that if we take the ISP principle, then in that case, why should the train need to know which journey it is doing? It just needs to know point A to point B it is moving and all, right? But the train journey has to know, okay, which train is going to come as a part of the service. Like, let's say a journey is there, so the journey needs to know which train served that journey, right? Which train serviced that journey. But the train doesn't need to know which journey it is serving. It just needs to know which stop it is going. So in that way also, I'm thinking like the train journey doesn't need to be inside train, but train needs to be inside the train journey.
Yeah, okay. And can't we club both these managers? Like train and train journey manager, can't we club it? And we'll be having two maps in a class.
Okay, can I just show you my proper UML that I've made? Like, it's not the end-to-end thing, but I guess you'll be able to understand a lot more using that. Can you all see? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, give me one sec. So here, see, there is basically train journey as train, and then there is train manager, and there is train journey manager. So I've kept it very simple things only right now. So in train journey manager, what I did was there's a map of, this is the ID. So this is say train journey ID, and then there's train journey. Now I get that use case that if you want corresponding to all the trains, you could probably, the way you create the ID is going to be different, first of all, or you can have say a map of, a pair of train ID and train journey. So there are different ways of storing it in map, right? But the responsibility of getting all the journeys should be for this. Also, one more thing that I thought was that for a user, for customer, no, you will have a list of bookings also. That what were the bookings that I had. Booking is what basically a journey only. Like inside a booking, there's a journey, right? So if a customer wants to see all the bookings, that can be there inside the customer also. So that is also, I think, easier. Correct?
One small doubt. What would an ID, so why would you have a map of ID versus train journey? Like a single train journey has a single ID, right? How come multiple train journeys are having a single ID?
When did I say no? Okay, what does this map mean?
That is what I'm saying.
So map is basically one ID, one train journey, one ID, one train journey, one ID, one train journey. So this is like admin wants to see that this is the ID. I want to get information of this journey. Give me the journey object. This is that.
Okay, my bad. Yeah.
Okay. Also, guys, before we move ahead, there is one very interesting thing that I wanted to talk about because multi-threading is an important point about all of this. And as far as I remember, I had given you homework of trying to work on singleton ka multi-threading, trying to do the demo. Did anyone do it? Anyone who did it? Singleton, trying to see multi-threading, if it is working, if it is not working. Very bad, guys.
Yes, have done like
you did?
In JDBC template, like JDBC call, we have created singleton here, right? In a real example. So
Nice.
that moment, but in the end, enum class is the best for singleton because it don't have a private method.
Okay. Great that you tried it out. Please share the code on Discord now. I would like to check it out.
Sure.
Okay. So for now, I want to share like a particular demo that I did like for this particular case so that you understand that for all the important systems like Book My Show, IRCTC, or basically wherever you're booking something, what is the problem that happens and why do we need to take care of multi-threading? Okay. So let's look at what I've done. So there are two classes, like basically there's two code that I've written. One is the problematic code and one is the solution. I've written in both C++ and Java. So can I get, everyone is awake? Can I get yes? Everyone awake? Hello? Awake, no? Not boring, right? Simple stuff? Fun stuff? Okay. Cool. Okay. So here you can see what I've done is I'm trying to book a seat. This is the seat number, and then there's just some username. Just trying to show you a demo, right? So there are like a simple list of seats I've kept. If it is 0, that means it has not been booked. And what I'm going to try doing is that there are 3 people. Okay, there are 3 threads. There is Kirti, Amit, and Rohit, and they are trying to book a particular seat. The seat number is 2. Okay, they are trying to book the seat at the same time. Okay. Now, when we try to book, what I've done is I have just added like a small sleep of 1 millisecond, obviously, because you'll have to make payment and all of that, right? So I have added a simple sleep in between so that you can see that there is some delay and multiple people will end up booking the same seat. So let's see if I can demo that or not. So where am I? Okay. So let's first see the problem 1. We are in the Java code. So let's run the Java code. So
we are in CPP code, right?
We are in, okay, I'm showing you the Java code, but terminal I am in the Java. Okay, cool. So here you can see, Kirti trying to book seat 2, Rohit trying to book seat 2, Amit trying to book seat 2. Value of the seat 2 is now 3. So all 3 of them ended up booking the same thing. Again, 3, 3, 3. And you can see the order in which that is booked is also different. Here it is Amit, Kirti, Rohit. Here it is Amit, Rohit, Kirti. Here it is Rohit, Amit, Kirti. Every time it is different. Kirti, Rohit, Amit. Kirti, Rohit, Amit. Rohit, Kirti, Amit. So you can see the order is different. But there are multiple seats that are getting booked. Everyone can see this? You understand the problem that is happening if I'm not handling multi-threading. So I've created 3 threads. So here you can see I've created 3 threads and I'm booking the seats. So there's Kirti, Amit, Rohit, and I'm starting all of them and I'm joining. So when I'm actually doing the booking, over here, book seat, multiple seats are getting booked. So seat booked by which username, and every time I'm increasing the seat number by 1. Over here also, let's run the C++ code also. Or you understood, no? It's the same output only from both C++ or Java. Make sense? Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's see that what is happening in the solution part. Okay. So let me try to. Okay. Now see, value of seat is 1. And seat is booked by Rohit, not by Amit, not by Kirti. All 3 are trying to book seat 2, but Rohit won. Amit and Kirti lost. Let's see. Always Rohit is winning, kya? Or Rohit won again. Rohit won again. What is this? Kirti won. Kirti won. See? Kirti won this time. Amit won this time. Rohit won this time. Rohit won again. Rohit is fast, I think. You get the point? See, Amit won this time. You get the point that every time only one person is able to book. The point is this: the value of this seat should be 1. It should not be 3. It should not be 2. Only one person should be able to book it. Everyone understands the problem that we are trying to solve? Yes? Okay. Yes. So how did I solve it? How did I solve it? So in Java, I have used reentrant lock, and all I have done is, before actually doing it, I put a lock in the bit in the starting and I did unlock in the end. In C++ also, if you see, here I've used mutex, there I've used reentrant lock. It is essentially the same thing. You put the lock in the starting, you put unlock in the end, same thing will happen. Let me show you in C++ also. See, here the problem will be there, right? All 3 of them will end up booking 3, 3, 3, 3. And the order is different. Kirti, Rohit, Amit. Rohit, Kirti, Amit. Kirti, Amit, Rohit. Kirti, Amit, Rohit, like this. Okay, so the order is different all the time. Kirti, Amit, Rohit. Now you can see it was not even booked. So seat booked by Rohit, Amit, Kirti. So it is not even getting printed properly. Here also it is not getting printed properly. Correct? Versus if I run the solution 1 where I have put the lock and the unlock. So here you can see I have also written which thread is able to book. So seat 2 is already booked by Rohit on thread this. So here it is booked by it is already booked by Rohit, already booked by Kirti. I think I've printed the wrong one, but okay, I should have printed the one who is trying to book.
It is showing printed, seat booked by Amit.
Like here it is correct. Here it should have showed already booked by name. I'm trying to book, but the print is wrong. But you get the point.
Message is same. Like we have
the message, like you have understood that here who is booking already, who is booking. Just look at this. Kirti has booked right now. Again, Kirti has booked. Kirti is fast. Let's see who else. Okay, all the time Kirti.
It's a randomly selected one.
Here you can see Amit is booking. It is not randomly selected. It is who is reaching first and being able to lock it.
Okay.
Which is random.
Yeah, that is random. Yeah.
It is not like I have written random, like it is happening randomly. Yes. Yeah. So all I've done is I've put a lock and I've put an unlock. So whenever you talk about seat booking, about booking system, you have to do lock unlock. In high level system design also we had discussed this, but again I'm mentioning, if you actually do this, right? If you try to book a flight, try this out today. Select 2 seats, don't make the payment. Or try in Book My Show also it happens. You open any one theater, select 2 seats, and then you go from there. You don't make the payment. You open it again from, say, your friend's phone, try it out. You will see that those 2 seats will be blocked for, say, 1 minute or 2 minutes, or for some time it will be blocked. Because the Book My Show is waiting that, okay, you are going to come back and do the payment. That seat has been blocked for you. Because they don't want multiple people should be able to select the seat.
Before payment?
Yes, before payment itself they do it.
Yeah, because it will spoil the user experience, no? Because someone is trying to book and suddenly he's not getting at the payment time.
So sometimes you will actually see this also, that you are trying to book. You saw that, okay, a seat was not available. You will see after some time that seat will become available. Because the person for whom it was blocked did not finish the payment. So you will actually see this happening in a lot of places.
Okay.
So everyone has understood this, right? So very classic thing. If anyone asks you that what is the problem, see, you can just say that if there are different threads, they will try to access at the same time. Please try this out with Singleton. Also try writing the code and please share that multiple instances will end up getting created. If what was the term that we learned in Singleton? Why do we need 2 checks?
Double locking. Double check lock?
Yes, double check locking. So we did, you remember double check locking over there, 2 null checks we did?
Yes.
Yes, internally. Yep. Firstly, 2 times we are checking, first upper and last. Internally. Yep.
Thank you. Also, there is one more thing. Okay, I think I am sharing.
But that is not applicable in this case, right, Kirti? For the booking, we don't need the double check locking, right? Double check locking is something where
we don't need double check locking over here.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
Okay. Yeah.
You just need lock. Yeah. Okay. Let me share my screen once more. So the common things that are there in every system, let's just check that also, because we did so much discussion. Just
I have
this.
one question. So, for example, like, doesn't this, is there any better way more than this? Because this has been asked in interviews. I have done the same thing, like made the locking in the same way, but the question has been asked, it will make your system slower. So, is there any better way which can be do to make it faster?
See, usually, I think, were you trying to do singleton?
No, not singleton. It's a locking.
Usually when you, like, if you saw why we did double check locking, that was because the lock was not always needed and we put a check up. Right. So when you're trying to write code, don't put lock unnecessarily. Like if there is any previous check to be done, do that. That is one of the normal optimizations that is there. That don't put the lock unless it is needed. Then there are also different kinds of locks that are there in different languages, like in C++ right now I showed using mutex, and Java you can do using synchronized and all of that. We won't be going into that much detailing, like how you can do multi-threading and all of that. But usually what are the, like, better ways of doing it? Probably I can share with you separately, but that we won't be going to that much level of detail.
Yes, I agree. Like we just put the logging on to the small part, not a complete. Yeah,
Only the
that's why.
critical section.
Yeah,
Yes.
critical section.
Yep.
So in the movie booking, the lock is being made on the DB, right?
See, in the real scenarios, you'll be putting lock on DB. Here, what I have done is, because there's a vector, I have put up a lock over there. Usually, if you have, say, in-memory structures where you want to make some changes, then you will be using the lock over here. While writing to DB, yes, you will be putting DB lock. So yes, in real scenarios.
And Kirti, this solution will not work for distributed system, right? So
Yeah,
say if
that is distributed locking that has been discussed in HLD. That is HLD topic. Okay.
Kirti, I have one doubt. Like, where do we not need check locking? Like you said, we don't need it here. Why was it?
Here, okay, why do we do double check locking? That while creating the instance, okay, we needed that. What was the reason of double check locking? We checked that is it null, then then we put the lock, then we checked again, right?
Yes.
Here that is not the case. Here when you are doing it, like you can put a check like key if the seat num is 0, you can put like this. That only if it is not booked, then you can do it. And then you can do this and you can probably release it later. Like you can do like this. You could do because this is this, and probably say why I said that it is not going to be needed is because when you're going to call this book seat, no, already there would be a check that is the request that is there is valid. So somewhere outside also you must have checked. Otherwise, it's a valid point that you can add a check over here also to increase the. And that is a good point.
Okay, got it.
Correct. Good. Okay, coming back to the payment part. Remember, I had told you that I used Abstract Factory for the payment part. So I've actually written this down. So if you see in the code part, so if you see, I have written like this. So there is login, there is payment. You can see the code, right? Yep. So there is login, there is payment. Then there is, say, booking, there will be DB, there will be configurations. This is how your real code usually looks, right? So this is how you structure it properly. Like in user, there will be admin, there will be normal user and all of this. There will be small modules. So just wanted to show you that in usual code, there will be many submodules, and in interviews, obviously, you'll be expected to code like a small part of it. So for example, you're working on payment, okay? So let's look at what I've done in payment. So remember, I told you that I have done Abstract Factory in payment. Yes?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Awake?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So there's a payment manager. This you can see the payment manager is this, but I have not marked everything. But okay. So this will be singleton. I should have marked static instance and all of that also. I was honestly lazy. I've made such a huge system, but you get the point now. There is payment factory. There are different factories. There is PhonePe factory and there is Razorpay factory. In PhonePe factory, there are 3 things. So create net banking, credit card, and UPI. So PhonePe has to have all 3. Razorpay has to have all 3. And that your payment factory is telling that whichever payment gateway I integrate with, it should have all 3 of them. Correct? Make sense? Yes?
Yes.
So net banking has Razorpay net banking, PhonePe net banking, credit card, then there is Razorpay, PhonePe credit card, UPI, there is Razorpay and PhonePe UPI payment. Make sense? So this factory is responsible, the PhonePe factory is responsible for creating this, and this. And this guy, this factory is responsible for creating this, and this. Make sense? Hello.
Yes, Kirti, but won't it be easier if we categorize the payment modes under each payment gateway itself? Like, for example, Razorpay has credit card, debit card, and net banking. Then PhonePe has those 3. Why should we even separate based on the mode of payment?
Because we can add more payment gateways in future.
Yes, you can add, see here, you can add just pay over here, right? Another factory. But when you add this, it should be supporting all three payments. And see, this
So individually, we can switch off one particular payment gateway for one particular mode of payment. Is that what?
You can switch it off. You can set that I want PhonePe or I want Razorpay, but you want them to support the particular. Like that is the case, right? That you want to support net banking, credit card, and UPI for both of them. For PhonePe also, for Razorpay also.
Okay, because when I want to, okay, yeah, because when I want to make the changes in one particular payment mode, so let's say Razorpay net banking,
then you will have to see the process. Like the creation is actually happening inside only, right? So for Razorpay net banking, PhonePe net banking. So in the end, you will have to make change only over here.
Okay.
Can we use a strategy over here in the payment?
So strategy you will use for what? You will use for the algorithm. Here, what am I talking about? About creation of the payment. Like,
yeah, correct. For the payment, I will only consider how we are doing the payment, whether we are using the credit card, debit card, or UPI. If I am using PhonePe or Razorpay, that is a third-party library. How internally and what all functionalities they are providing, that I am not considering. I'm just considering how you are doing the payment using
strategy you would use when you are implementing the algorithm, right? Here you are not implementing the algorithm. So that is why I prefer factory. Why? Because you created now inside this, when you say process, you are just calling the third party that, right?
But why do we need a payment object here?
So you are talking to payment manager. You will need the object, right? Like someone, like you need the object, right? Okay. Let me. Okay, there's another demo that I did. Let me just show it to you. Okay, so if I actually run the IRCTC code, can you all see this login, enter type of login? I'll just show you a quick small demo. So when I do first one, if I just do admin, here the things that I'm getting is add train and display train. Okay. Similarly, say I just go out and I run again, say for the second guy, I'm getting this search train and all of this, right? So if I do first, right now I'm not supported search and all of this. If I do the payment, here you can see that going to make payment and I am doing using Razorpay, UPI Razorpay this, right? So I can put it like this. If you see my main class, main, here's my main. Here I've set Razorpay. If I just change this to PhonePe, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, Kit, this is what I was exactly asking. So you would you will use the same payment gateway for all modes of payment, right? So usually, like whether it is PhonePe or some other. So should we really separate the payment modes as well? Because we have created separate classes entirely, even for the mode.
So these are different classes only that you're creating. That is all I'm doing. So see, I just changed to PhonePe, like from the admin, suppose I changed from Razorpay to PhonePe. So now I'm just creating the classes. Why am I using factory pattern? Just to create the classes.
Okay.
And this again.
Is this
now it is PhonePe. Earlier it was Razorpay, correct? Earlier it was Razorpay, now it is PhonePe. I just changed that. There's so many mornings. But okay. See, the point is, I'm just saying that if I want to create different classes, I can use this. If I want to create different classes for, say, Razorpay net banking, Razorpay credit card, Razorpay UPI payment, like I will have a Razorpay object. Like if it is payment factory, say if it is PhonePe payment factory, I will say have PhonePe credentials, correct? And I would have to do the payment. Now, when I'm actually doing the payment, I can send the credentials over here, the PhonePe. Okay, it got stuck. Very good. So when I have the credentials and if I want to do it, like you can just pass on the credentials, but you will need a class, no? That now I am doing the net banking and that is the one who is going to actually process it for you. See, I have the credentials. I will pass it and I will say कि either do phone pay ka net banking or phone pay ka credit card or phone pay ka UPI. What is the confusion? Okay.
So do we really need these things? Because if I am designing it, I will be preferring how you want to do the payment, whether UPI, phone pay, Razor Pay, or some other UPI. But internally, what all functionalities that is giving, that is not my concern. Means whether phone pay is giving you to do the payment using all these things, or
That is not a concern. Okay. Right now I have designed for the system where you would want to support, like you want to make sure that the system is supporting net banking, credit card, and UPI. Then the requirements itself is different.
Okay.
Right now, the system that I have designed, you are saying that, okay, no, my payment manager should have like these types of payment gateways and these types of, if you feel that that is not the requirement, it is fine. I'm just showing that if this is the requirement, you can do it like this.
We can create factory of net banking factory, then credit card factory, and then we can have this object of the classes of this.
You can make it opposite also, yes.
But it's like every payment gateway will have its own way of doing that, like net banking or the way it will connect to that Razor Pay or Phone Pay. So that's why I think.
Okay.
And also, usually, see, you will not set up in the starting that you want to do using credit card or this, right? But in my CPP, in my main, the one that I just showed, I can set as admin that I want to use which payment gateway. Like, for example, Razor Pay is down. I will set that I want to use Phone Pay. So now everywhere Phone Pay ka classes will work, right? Versus if I want to set that no, Razor Pay should work. That is why the family is what? The family is that whether it is phone pay or Razor Pay. Internally, it has all the three, but as admin, I can choose that, okay, I want to support phone pay or Razor Pay. That is why it is like this.
Understood.
But Kirti, do we really need the payment provider factory? Like, since like in IRCTC, we only see different modes of payment, but we never we first select the payment provider first and
You
then
don't
go.
select, admin selects. So who is selecting over here? The admin is selecting, no, that I want to see if phone pay is down. Who is selecting? Like the IRCTC system is going to select, no, oh, phone pay is down. I should start using Razor Pay. Razor Pay is down. I should start using.
Okay. I got the
And
point, yeah.
also, if you see, like, you know, all the payment that you have done for the course, so I get only like, so everything 2.67% actually Razor Pay cuts and give me. That percentage is cut by Razor Pay. So every company has their own percentage also. So suppose Razor Pay increases the percentage, I'll go like, oh, Razor Pay is taking so much of my money. Now I'll start using Phone Pay. Every transaction, every amount of money that you have given me, a part of that has gone to Razor Pay.
So one
So
doubt
like
is,
if we were designing for clients, then we wouldn't need this abstract factory design, right here.
If we were designing for clients,
Not for ad.
if you did not want to do ki, you want to set the payment solution, then yes, you wouldn't need.
so yeah, that was my doubt
But
only.
Kirti, in
What is that?
IRCTC, mostly we have
Hello?
multiple options, multiple payment providers. You can choose either Razor Pay or Phone
No,
Pay or
no.
anything.
I don't think any
In the
company
beginning,
you
it's
can
there.
choose. Okay,
Actually, there are multiple
maybe.
layers. So first you choose the provider or
I have
net
not
banking,
seen
and
that.
then
If it
there
is
is
there, then
further
so it is
breakups.
even better, no? Even
It's a little
customer.
complex, yes. It's like, yeah, you are right.
But then
So
it can be set
it
by
makes
client
sense.
also.
Yes. I've never seen it, but
You
if that
can
is there,
choose it.
then so you are proving my point. Okay, I guess we are spending too much time on this. If it is part of the requirement, then you can do it like this. Everyone understands abstract factory design pattern. Yes.
So like as an interview, right? So if the interviewer says that we have to design it for the client user only, right? Then also we can tell this use case, right? They're saying that admin has to fix it, or he'll be like do it via client only.
See, it depends. See, if it is a system like IRCTC, the payment, login on all of this, obviously you're going to black box. That is not going to be your main thing. Your main thing is going to be your train, your seat, your booking, or your arrangement, all of this. But you can ask in the requirements, and if you are asked, then you can use this definitely.
No. My doubt is, for example, let's say he played the same activity, interview, right? Like how can you use the abstract factory? So I also told him the same answer that this payment and this thing this will be done by admin. But at the start only he said that you need to tell everything as per the basis of client. Then also this case is hold, or do we need to switch our example?
But in the start only, he said what?
He said that design as per client user only.
So as he said, like one of the use cases is that in the starting, maybe user can select, I want to use PhonePe or Razorpay or like whatever you want to use.
Kirti, but in the interviews, like, is it like that the interview tries like ask us to fit a design pattern? It's always the other way around, right? We suggest that the design pattern can be this. It's never like the teacher will ask like give this.
You will be the one who will be suggesting and implementing the design pattern. Okay, we are spending too much time on this. Let's come back to our next discussion.
We are able to reset the payment whatever. So is this strategy or bridge, or I'm not sure.
This was creation of payment, and can we come back to the payment like at 11 now, please? We spend too much time on payment. Yes. Okay. We are in login now. For login, we can have different strategies, right? Email, OTP, third party, username, password. Everyone agrees to this. We can use a strategy design pattern for this. Make sense? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, cool. So for login manager, like you can see that I have this, and then there's a strategy. There is email, OTP, third party, and username, password. Honestly, according to me, strategy is one of those design patterns that you can use so much, like in almost every systems, because you want to support different algorithms for different things. So it is literally a lifesaver. If you are practicing, please do practice the strategy design pattern properly. It really helps in interviews also. So like, for example, here I have done in login, right? So there is my login strategy. Here there are there are abstract functions, or the functions that the concrete strategies will have to implement. There is login and there's suppose get name, simple thing. Then there is email OTP strategy, which actually does the login using email and OTP. Then there is, this is just the manager. There's login strategy, there's third party strategy, and there's username password strategy, right? Let's see what is there in the manager. There are different kinds of strategy that are possible. Now, how is it extensible? How? Because you can suppose tomorrow you want to add another type, you can just add over here, right? So right now you have email, OTP, third party, username. Suppose you want to add using WhatsApp or Telegram. Maybe there's some new strategy that comes, or maybe Google or anything else, Gmail strategy you can add over here. Correct? Sounds good, right? Extensible code. So inside login manager, you have a strategy. Here you can create the strategy. I think here I am creating the strategy. If I go inside this, yep, I am creating the strategy over here. So depending on the input. Make sense? So login payment is something that is going to be common. Cool. And let's come back to this UML. Okay. So we discussed about train. We discussed about train journey. We also talked that train will have compartment. Compartment will have seat. Does everyone agree that this is going to be composition? Train has compartment. Compartment has seat.
Yeah.
Any questions over here? This makes sense to everyone? Cool. Okay. Train manager has map of trains. Train journey has map of train journeys. Make sense? Any questions?
Sorry, can you please repeat? Train has?
Train journey has train. Train manager has trains ka map. Train journey manager has train journey ka map. Basically, there are two maps, and then train journey has train, what we discussed about.
Yeah. That makes sense. But the relationship between train manager and train is composition. Why is that?
Because I want a manager, like I don't want a train to randomly be there when I don't have its information. You can see this corresponding to, say, your DB instance, like train, all of your like train data is somewhere, right? So this is like your in-memory data sort of thing, right? So you want all the information of all the trains somewhere. Only the manager is there, train should be there, correct?
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Then There are different users. There is admin and there is customer. In my customer, we have bookings, and then there are different kinds of requests. So this I had made in bridge design pattern. So this makes sense. There's a request processor, there's search request, there's booking request, there's cancel request. Then request has a request processor. So basically,
Kirti, could you please explain train journey and train manager? I think train journey should have train manager.
Were you there in the entire class?
Yeah. So
Okay.
train journey manager, not train manager, sorry. So train journey manager.
So train
So
journey
train
manager
journey,
just has, it is like a data store of all the train journeys. You just have information of all the train journeys over here. That's it. There is a map that if I have a train
Okay.
journey ID as an admin or as someone,
so if
maybe
train
I
journey
have,
itself contain create train journey directly. So train journey manager instance, it will contain train journey.
see, you have a lot of train journeys, but you want to store all the train journeys in one place, right? Suppose a train goes 30 times in a month. You want to store all the train journeys together somewhere, correct?
Okay.
I don't hear a confident okay. Tell me what is the problem.
So I was thinking like each journey will have details about itself. And
So each journey has details
managing,
about itself, but you want to keep all the details together. Like, okay, so if there are 100 journeys, how will you find out that, okay, if I have a train journey ka ID, how will you get the object? 100 objects are there somewhere, right? How will you get access to a
okay.
particular object? So this is like your in-memory data, like your database. You can think of it like that. That this is my train journey ka ID. So suppose your booking has a train journey ka ID, that this was the train journey you were part of.
Okay.
Now you can
Yeah,
go
got
like,
it.
give me details of this train journey. So this will give you the train journey ka object. Make sense?
Yeah, got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. This part everyone understood, that request processor. Any questions in this part? Search,
This
request,
is
booking,
the
request.
bridge probably, yeah.
Yes, bridge. Yep. So
Yeah.
more or less how it looks like, that customer sends the request. Now, if it is a booking request, then the processor is going to be, say, booking request processor. Then there is a booking manager. It is actually going to process the request and it is going to create the booking. What is the booking? Train ID, user, source station, destination station, there's payment info, there is date and all of this. Make sense? Hello, slept kya?
Yes, makes sense.
Okay, I'm going to stop talking and I'm
Uh,
going
Can
to.
you just tell Kirti why we use bridge pattern? I know you said before, but I still don't understand.
So, okay, I also did not know that I'm going to use bridge pattern. Why I did was because I thought and see, I have multiple kinds of requests, right? When we noted down the requirements, remember we saw that, okay, there is search that I have to do, there's booking, then there is cancel, right? So there are different kinds of requests that are coming. Then I thought that, okay, customer is supposed to send a request. The request can be of any type, search, booking, cancel, but the customer should not know. It is just a request for a customer, right? So just send a request. Now, how it is being processed is going to be different, like booking request processor, search request processor, and cancel request processor. So this is sort of the abstract part, right? And this is the implementation. Then I realized, oh, this looks like bridge.
Kirti, can't we use the command pattern here?
How would
So
you use command pattern? Yeah.
considering a kind of the booking or the search or the cancel as a command. So user is requesting or customer is requesting for.
But you are not going to do undo redo here, isn't it? Like after making the cancel request, you cannot go back. How are you going to do like going back
It
and
is not
forward?
necessary, firstly, that you always have to use undo redo. That is not a good reasoning, I would say. When do we use command design pattern? When we want to treat a command as an object. Do we need that over here? Can we use command design? Okay, I am saying we can do both. Can use, cannot use. Now tell me the reasoning. What reasoning would you guys give for using command design pattern? What reasoning would you give for not using command design pattern? Okay, I will let you guys go soon. Then you can go sleep. Please answer.
So Kirti, command design pattern actually has to work on a object. So there is no common object if we use a command here. So
There
is no
is request.
no, there is
So
no
like
common object which it will work upon. So these are random commands. They are not actually.
also like who will be the invoker and who will be the receiver?
Yeah,
Suppose this is the invoker, this is the receiver.
Yeah, customer is invoker.
I am confusing you. You have to give me reasoning. Can we use? Can we not use?
Command pattern we basically usually we need to pass the commands as a parameter, which we don't need here. Commands needs to be stored in a list, that also we don't need, and then undo also we don't need.
So why? See, I'm not saying you cannot use a command design pattern. You can. Do you need it? Why do you need it? Like you can treat request as like, you know, an object. I am treating like it is an object, correct? But why would you want to use like you can sort of say this is command design pattern because this is the invoker, this is the invoker, this is the receiver, right? You can say that this is command design pattern. This is a part of design pattern. But are we actually doing the crux of command design pattern? Like if you think about it, if I just showed you this, if I just showed you the UML, I'm saying this to confuse you. If this was say I command, like the interface, and then there are different commands. There's cancel command, there's booking command, and there's search command. Then this is the receiver. This is the invoker. So this becomes command design pattern. But that is true. Here, what am I talking about? How do I structure these things? Like, for example, here there is booking request, there is search request. So like for search, there is a particular implementation. For booking, there's a particular implementation. For cancel, there's a particular implementation. That is why bridge makes more sense, because how do I structure those implementations different from their abstractions? So what makes more sense? I'm not saying ki this is right, this is wrong. I am giving you my reasoning. If you have a better reasoning, give it to me. I was expecting a better response, guys. Come on.
Not sure, but can we say that the customer here is actually creating a request and then processing it?
So customer is creating the request and then processing it. So
Okay.
what are you trying to say?
In command pattern, we do not create the object, right? Or we do?
I think we can say like command design pattern is not used because there's no behavioral change here. It's more of a structural thing. Like we are not observing anything. Can that be
How
said
was
here?
command design pattern? Let's see. So there was a receiver, there was a command interface, there was action open, there was action save. So here is action, say search, action cancel, and that, right? Now there are many options over there also. So there is an invoker, correct? Now there's one person who is seeing. But see, there is only one person who's receiving and actually doing it, right? So there is only one implementation which is happening. Versus in bridge, what happens? Let's see. Bridge. So if I see the bridge, the implementation is there, and there is different implementation for Google Map and for Apple Maps, correct? Here, the implementation is different for booking, for search, for cancel. Makes more sense?
Kirti, one question. So in the other example you showed, right, Google Maps and Apple Maps can be used to buy, like, I think we discussed Uber. It could be used to buy like Uber Eats or Uber Ride. But here, only booking could be used by the booking request, right? It could not be used by the cancel request. So
Yeah, same question.
like, I feel it's not very
the
suitable.
abstraction was saying that, okay, there is Uber Ride and there is Uber Eats. So there are different. Okay, so here, if I say search and booking,
We cannot use it interchangeably, right? That is the main reason why we went with the bridge pattern in the other example.
This reasoning makes sense. Yes, you're right. So here there is navigation implementation. There is Google Maps. There is Apple Maps. In the navigation system, there is Uber Ride and Uber Eats who can use the same thing. You are correct. You are absolutely correct. So this is not the proper use case of bridge. You are correct. You're correct. Okay. So
what kind of pattern could we implement here?
Could you please explain again why it is not a use case of bridge?
Sorry?
Can you repeat that? Why this bridge is not applicable here?
So the reasoning that she gave, which is very good actually. So here there was Uber, right? Like just view it like this. There was Uber Eat, and there was Uber Rides. Okay. Now Uber Eats could use say Google Maps or Apple Maps, and Uber Ride could use say Google Map and Apple Maps. So that is a very good point. Here we are not doing like that. Here it is not like this guy can use this processor or this processor. If there would have been different processors, it would have made sense. It's a good, thank you so much for pointing this out. You are completely correct. I was wrong. So here, we cannot call this bridge, even though I have abstracted out abstraction and implementation. What was the crux of the bridge? The crux was that whatever is the abstraction, I should be able to choose the implementation also. And that is not what we are doing over here. Make sense?
Yes. Yeah. For example, in request, we can make certain fields as optional. For example, like there is a fulfill request, there are cancel request, right? And we can make something like update request. In the update request, there can be fulfill and the cancel request, right? So in the update request, we can also send it. And if the fulfill request parameter is there, it can be used. And if cancel request parameter is there, it can be used.
Nice. She just told that my reasoning was good. Okay, thank you. Okay, that is a good reasoning though. That is a very good reasoning.
Sorry, can you repeat?
So she is saying ki if there is say not search and cancel, there is say update request. Okay. Now in this update, maybe she wants to do multiple things. Okay. Say it is a combination of two requests and you want to use two processors together. Like maybe you want to use cancel and what else did you say?
Fulfill or cancel.
Suppose there is a fulfill request processor or booking request processor. Maybe it is a combination. If that was the case where if there's a request where I could use two processors or I have to choose that, okay, which one to use. In that case, it makes sense. Or maybe, let me give you another example. Suppose
so we'll have a list of request processor?
Like for example, just one sec. So suppose there is booking request processor, right? We could also have, say, there is type of booking request. So suppose there is flight booking request processor and there is, say, train booking request processor. Now, depending on the booking, I can call, say, flight booking or I can call train booking. In that case, it becomes a bridge.
So can we say like it's not like all of the part of request can use all of the processor. It can be like any part can be used by multiple, like something like that.
Achha, Kirti, suppose
tell me.
Suppose you came to the conclusion that bridge is not suitable. Then how would you refactor this?
No, we came to the conclusion that bridge is suitable. That if there were different booking request processors, so if there's booking request, if there is say a flight booking request processor, train booking request processor, like that, so we can have different processors for the same request. So that makes sense.
I'm saying hypothetically, we only train IRCTC is still doing train. So how would you refactor this?
How would I refactor? I wouldn't try to force fit a design pattern. I think this is good enough. I think that, as I said earlier, also, it is not like I started that I have to implement bridge design pattern. I first made this and then I realized, oh, this is bridge design pattern. Okay. Because I've abstracted out implementation separately. So I'm not saying I would force fit this design pattern has to be there. The point is to follow solid principles. I still feel that this is a good design. If you think the way to design this, you tell me. Not in terms of design pattern in terms of this is how you would have structured your classes, this is how you should have kept it, you tell me, then we can discuss.
So if request processors are of the type that they are used by each of this booking request, cancel request, and search request, then it's a bridge.
Yep.
Because we would have to inherit.
Even if one request is using, say, multiple processors, it does become a bridge, right? Because
bridge, okay.
Yeah, and to me it looks like the way you have implemented Kirti, it looks like command pattern only, because request we can consider as a command, and there are various, I mean, command interface, various implementation of command like search command, book command, cancel command, and the receiver would be the processor where we are going to process the command basically.
if you see, just if there is only one receiver, you can say that this is sort of command.
Receiver, there are three receivers here, right?
Yeah,
Booking
this
is
is
one
basically
receiver,
correct.
search, cancel.
Yep. You can view this as command. If I had done that one, no. If I had done the other use case that we are talking about, that there is booking request and then there are types of booking requests, then it would have been a better example for bridge. Yep.
Yeah.
You are right.
Like this is a combination, no, of command and bridge. So you factored out the execute function into just another class. That's what we did here.
Again, don't force fit a design pattern until you think ki, oh, this is what is happening. Okay, what have I done? I have abstracted out, okay, there's a this and then there's implementation. You can think of it like ki, this is a receiver, this is the invoker, and this is the command, because it is in essentially a request that I have made as an object. So you can think of it like a interface command, and there are concrete commands. If I take the use case that a particular request, a particular abstract can have basically multiple implementations. Suppose there is booking request processor, there is suppose train, there is flight, there is something else, then it definitely becomes a bridge. Then it is definitely not a command. Right now you can, I think, put it under bridge or command both.
Kirti, but if you are saying that we shouldn't think of it like fitting a design pattern, won't we sometimes be risking breaking solid principles in the go? Is it possible?
So usually I see when design pattern is very obvious, no, obviously go ahead with that. But when it is not obvious, then try designing and see that, okay, which design pattern is making sense. If it is not making sense, just think of solid principles. Like most of the cases, you end up following a design pattern yourself. Like over here, we discussed and we understood that, okay, command or bridge, right? But we discussed together and we came up with it. So most of the times when you sit designing, you will be able to come up with a design pattern yourself only. And then you will know, okay, how this is extensible. Ask yourself the questions, is it following OCP? Is it SRP? What is the single responsibility? Like over here, I was getting confused. What is the responsibility of the train? Someone was saying, no, that train itself should create the train journey. I asked, what is the responsibility of this? What is the SRP? Okay, here, if I have different requests that come, what would I do? OCP. If I have different customers, what would I do? Different types of users, OCP, right? So think of OCP, SRP, LSP. Think of it. It will come to you yourself, like it itself. You might not know all the design patterns also, right? We know 18. There are more. I'm not saying that we know all the design patterns. So there will be things that you might be using subconsciously. Like for example, I did not cover facade or proxy. Like this is something that you would obviously do, that there is one class and let that class only talk to client and we will take care of the rest, because we want to separate the implementation. You just did not know the term that it is facade. So that is what I'm trying to say, that try to follow solid principles and you will end up following design patterns also. If you know that this design pattern definitely fits, that is the best thing. Okay.
Kirti, can you explain why that was command? I didn't completely get why command pattern.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me reshare.
कीर्ति एक क्वेश्चन है, लाइक यहाँ पे IRCTC में हम फ्लाइट बुकिंग कैसे कर रहे हैं? मतलब हम डीकपलिंग करना चाह रहे हैं यहाँ पे ब्रिज के थ्रू, बट वो थोड़ा कंसर्न है कि वहाँ पे फ्लाइट का ऑप्शन कैसे आ रहा है IRCTC में.
IRCTC has more options, not just train now. So in the requirements part, we said no, that we want to keep it extendable. Suppose we want to do even bus booking, taxi booking, any sort of booking. So booking request is a booking request. Any booking it can be.
So ब्रीज हम कंसिडर कर रहे हैं कि दोनों को हम एक ही डिकपल कर रहे हैं यहाँ से ना
let me show you. So if there is booking request, so suppose there is another one over here. So if this is say train booking and suppose this is it's hanging so much. There is flight booking. Okay, so now booking request can send to this or to this, right? Okay, the arrows are wrong, but you get them. By the way, this is how you can set the arrows and everything. And also, if you would have noticed here, I have the option of adding multiplicities that we had discussed yesterday, reverse line direction. I can set both of them. So if I reverse line direction, it looks like this. Yep. Okay, cool. Someone asked me, how is it command design pattern? So basically, what you guys only noticed and told me, this is basically the command interface. These are the different commands. Okay. And if the same command is not being used by different processor, then basically there is only one receiver, right? This is the receiver interface. These are the concrete receivers. And this is the invoker. This is the command interface. That is how it becomes command design pattern. But the moment I do this, this becomes bridge design pattern.
Kirti, command is used when there is an action which is not encapsulated, and we somehow want to encapsulate this action because we want to store it or we want to log it, probably do some operations on it. So here, nothing of that sort is being happening. For example, there was a book function, which is just a function call, and now you want basically that function call to be recorded. Then we need to encapsulate.
That's why initially I was apprehensive ki why command design pattern, but then see, you are basically treating a request as an object. What is a request? A command as an object. You can log a request, correct? You are treating the request like you can send the request as an object.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, okay, makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. This brings us to the end of the week 4, by the way. Yes, officially I end the class now. I'll pick up more questions. Just quick reminder, it's the last week. Okay, so please, any questions you have, unless you put it on Discord, I won't be able to know that, okay, these are the questions that are remaining. Any remaining topics that I could cover in next week, any resources you want, please share on the Discord channel. Please make some time over the weekend, hackathon, attempt it. I will make time and I will review the codes also this weekend. So if there's anything, please do share. And also, by the way, DSA course, the coupon codes will stop working next week. So if interested, sign up. Okay. And any other questions, please let me know. I'm here to help in any way possible. Please send your code for review. Others also, please reply on Discord. See, the more we discuss, the more you also think about the design patterns and about the possible solutions, right? It is not like I am telling you that, okay, this is the solution and this is what you're supposed to do, correct? So please, everyone.
Kirti, you mentioned right now that the coupons will stop working after next week. Next week means like after next week, right? It's still 19th.
It will work.
Okay.
So how many questions we will be covering in the DSA course?
So in DSA, see, my focus will be more on the concepts, but all the important questions that are covered, like in all those, DSA sheets that you see, all the important questions, I'll be covering at least from lead code also, plus some from GFG that are not there on lead code, some from other resources as well. So I have not kept a counter on the number of the questions, but all the famous questions of recursion, DP, trees, graphs will be covered.
So, Kirti, I have a request. Is it possible to start a week early so that we can actually take the last week of December off?
So actually, I am traveling because of Diwali. So now I have 2 homes. I have to go to 2 homes. So I'll be coming back only that day, the day the classes are starting. So that's why.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah. I know, I am sorry. Even I wanted Christmas off. Initially, I
Can we
thought
take a
that
facade versus proxy now?
yes, we will. So just quickly answering that. So initially I thought I'll keep the DSA 5 weeks itself instead of 6 weeks. But then I thought one extra week is basically for practice, for revision, for hard level questions and all of that. So that is why I've kept it longer so that there's enough time for practice and all of that. Otherwise, 5K for 5 weeks would have felt too much, right? So that is why I kept it 6 weeks and 4 days a week. And it will be interactive like this. Cool. Proxy versus facade. Anyone would like to take it up yourself? Like anyone would like to answer? What is proxy? What is the purpose of proxy? What is the purpose of facade?
Yep, can do that. So you use facade when you want to abstract, when you do not want your client to actually know what classes it is it interacting with. So basically it's like your entire system has a wrapper around it, and that wrapper or that external class is what client communicates to. So client does not know what's happening. Client will just give that I need this to be done, and then facade will take care with to assign the responsibilities to different components and get the work done and return, right? Proxy is basically abstraction of an object. It's not necessarily external. So it's like if you have an internal user object and you have another object, let's say payments, right? And payments is using some third party or some other component of a system, and you do not want that component of your system to know uh, the entirety of user. So you assign a proxy to a user. Basically, it's a wrapper around user that will have only essential details for the external world to know. So even though the system that we talked about, the third component, might be thinking that it's interacting to the real user class because it's getting all the functionalities that it needs, it is essentially not knowing the entire context of what user or that object is.
Here, I would like to add 2 more points. If you think about facade, then I will consider it like a simplification of a complex system. But proxy, on the hand, I will consider it like you are adding some functionality on top of something, but you don't want the whole thing to be exposed. For example, let's say that you have some different objects which are very heavy operation. So let's say you have multiple objects where multiple operations are happening, and you don't want to expose all of them, but you want to expose just a little bit which is necessary, and that particular class will decide how it will interact with the other ones. So in that case, you are just doing sort of, what can I say, like the term will be like housekeeping stuff. So in that case, probably I will be using proxy. But facade is where you are oversimplifying everything, like you do not need to know any implementation or anything. You are just providing sort of a wrapper. So that will be a difference for me.
But won't that just be a like difference in how the wrapper is being used? But it's like more or less a wrapper only, right?
Yeah. So in that case, your question will be how you are implementing the solution will define how you like which design pattern you are going to with, isn't it?
So basically, like what we call is different, but what we are doing is same. Correct?
No. What you are doing is different. So you're trying to solve the same problem, maybe not even the same problem, but the problem might look similar. That's what I mean.
So what you're doing is essentially the same, right? Having a third component between two different objects. In facade, one object is your client, and in proxy, one object might be a client or some other class. So that's the thing. I think it's essentially the same thing. It's both are wrappers only.
See,
But
one thing is
that's what my question was. Like they are both wrappers only, so they are both same. It's just that we call it different because the use case is different,
So
right?
even decorator pattern is a wrapper, right? So essentially what you do there is also similar.
Decorator is adding decorators above it and making
Again,
it same object. So that way it is
decorator is wrapping and decorating. Proxy is wrapping an object. Facade is basically wrapping a system. That is how I understood it. I might be wrong, but this is my understanding.
I think I would find proxy, facade, and adapter to be like more or less similar. Adapter more like we can say that the use case was that there was a difference in the format in which that was required. That's why we added an adapter and stuff. But all the three, there are two common components that are separated by a third party, that is a wrapper. And that's why I get confused a lot, like when we use what design pattern. Like it's like,
then
do we define it in use case or what?
can we take into can we take into consideration the interface type as well? If you go with a proxy design, proxy pattern, most probably the interface that you will design for the class is going to be similar with the object that you are going to connect with. But for facade, the interface can be totally different from what your system is going to do.
And facade can be doing multiple things inside.
So the interface has nothing to do with the objects.
Yeah, so from outside you are just saying do this call this func1, and inside facade you will be doing func2, func3, but doing a lot of things inside. So that is facade basically. Proxy is basically
Similarly, proxy can also be doing this different things of the that the real party could have been doing.
that
Right?
is actually right.
So it's not like
but
there's a
proxy
major
cannot do
difference.
different thing, isn't it?
No,
For example,
so
let's say I made you
can,
that.
like we can be calling a proxy class with the same functions that the real class has. It might seem like we are calling the real function, but real class, but we are calling the wrapper.
Correct.
In that case, I will say you that you just mentioned that it can do different things. I am saying it can do different things of similar type, not different type. For example, let's say I made a wrapper where it is doing the task of booking, but while booking, it is also booking, then calling, then updating the database and everything. So all of those are not related tasks, right? So in that case, I can make it as a facade, but not as a proxy. The proxy can be, go ahead.
I can argue, right? So let's say I have two proxies combined in one system. One is your virtual proxy, the other one is your protection proxy, right? So I want to do these two things for an object inside a proxy class. So herein, I can also have a cache inside a proxy class as well, right? So it does. So even in the proxy class, I can do multiple things. But the only differentiation would be facade can interact with different objects. Proxy is a wrapper of a single object only.
Yeah,
so
that makes more sense actually.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah.
And that might make more sense. Yeah.
And
the facade can be a wrapper of a system, but proxy can't. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, adapter pattern is not similar to proxy or facade. I don't know why did you mention that, but yeah, it's completely different. Adapter is not a wrapper, right? Adapter is a connector basically for you to be able to connect to a third party, right? So it's not a wrapper. You're not wrapping anything. You're just providing an interface so that you can connect to something.
Yeah, my mistake was I was considering a wrapper to be a third thing, but yeah, you are correct. Like it's not a wrapper. So there is a distinction there, but I used to get confused between proxy and facade a lot. So yeah.
But I have one more question on this. Like I agree with you that both things are different. But for example, in the facade, we always create the interfaces and we implement the methods which are related to a particular thing. So basically solid principle we follow, right? Interface segregation.
So in facade, do we create any interfaces?
Yeah, there is abstraction, right?
Abstraction is there. Interfaces, are we creating interfaces in facade?
Abstraction you provide either with the interface or abstract classes, right?
Not really, right? So facade is a class in itself. I might be wrong, let me just check. But from what I understood, facade is a class in itself.
No, I think you are correct that facade can be a class in itself. It's not like it's required to be an implementation.
So the example would be the first class of this week that we had, right? The elevator design system. Our elevator manager was the facade in itself. So it was a class, it was not an interface there, right? Let me just check one sec.
Yeah, that's correct.
You're right.
It's correct actually.
Okay, so for example, if I want to create an interface, there will be having some implementation. So that will also provide the abstraction, right?
Sorry, come again.
So for example, like I will be having a one class that will be abstract classes. There will be having some methods, and on the client side, I'm implementing those methods. Right? For example, there's a SFTP connection, which I'm doing right now. And there are multiple methods inside it, connect, disconnect.
So be very clear about the system that you're designing for. When you say you're implementing something on the client side, basically you are designing for the client system and your facade is essentially your adapter. So that is what you really talked about. In adaptive design system, what we are doing is we are having, let's say, a very good example of adaptive design system is.
I was not talking about the adapter. I was talking about the facade and
So what you mentioned is having facade as an abstract class and implementing methods on the client side.
For example, proxy and the facade I was talking about. So in
Okay.
the proxy class, we have some proxy classes. Basically, we can use just a similar type of object, right? That there is a third party and there is just an interface which we can use it for the similar type. But in the same cases, in the facade itself, I can create a one interface and it should be related to that particular object itself.
Why do you want to create so you, okay, yeah, you can have facade as an interface, right? But that would essentially mean, it's an extended version of facade from what I learned in the classes, what Kirti told. So you can have two. So for example, you have a payments facade and then you have a user creation facade, right? In that case scenario, you can have an interface facade, right? But the
But
entire logic
interface,
here,
when we are calling the interface, isn't it like we are calling the concrete class instead of the interface?
yeah, exactly.
So,
That's
like,
what I was going to
would it
say.
be called? Would we be calling that a facade? I'm doubting that. It's not like we are having an abstraction there. We'll be calling the concrete thing, right?
We won't be calling the concrete.
No, so go to that class. There's a thing known as refined facade or as an additional facade. So basically, the entire facade thing is having a layer. It's like lettuce leaves in the sandwich. So it's basically having an additional layer between client and your system. Now, how you implement is upon you.
Right. So, for example, if I want to create something like a proxy itself, then there would be any difference.
Sorry, proxy.
Like for example, if I want to create a one interface which is having the similar kind of which will belong to a similar type of object, the methods it will be there. It belongs to a similar type of object.
See, okay.
Yeah, I want to add one
Yeah,
thing. Like, see, I think she is only considering like two classes, but in facade there can be multiple classes. So
yeah, that can be. But if we just consider two classes,
but in case of proxy, it is only two classes. One is proxy and one is the original class. You're just calling that classes, whatever member variables, member functions. And in case of facade, it is like you're calling multiple objects functions inside that facade class, whatever you are creating, which is exposed to the client.
Why would I be creating multiple type? I just want to create
No. It is like you have a use case, like you have to do order or you have to do the multiple things you have to do in the same. Like we had one example, right? In the class we have taken like computer facade and we are starting the computer and it is like powering on, initialization, graphics, boot mode. So there are various objects, like CPU is one object, memory, and we are calling different member functions for that. So with these all things we are doing the same class, which is like facade. But in case of your proxy, it is like only one class and which you have a proxy.
Yeah, that I understood the difference. Like I know that they are different, but if I just consider one class, then there would be any difference or not. Like if I am not.
It is a
talking about the
use case,
extensibility.
right?
Yeah.
But like if it is a use case dependent, where you have to use a facade and where you have to use a
Yeah, if I want to make it extendable, then it is a scenario of the facade. Yeah, there can be multiple facade, but if
Yeah.
it's one layer,
Yeah.
one class, then proxy and the facade, then it would be any different.
Yeah. Then you can, but then it is just that it is used when it is multiple. Like this is what I know. So yeah,
So
maybe.
yeah, at the end of the day, both of the things are wrappers only, so you're wrapping something. Now, if what you're trying to say is that your entire system is just a class, that actually is not possible. I mean, it might be possible in some case scenario, but generally it's not possible that your entire system is just a one class, right? So you cannot be using all the functions, methods of a class and getting your system to work. Your system has to have different components. So facade would basically be interacting to all of them. Make sense? And proxy, you cannot have a single proxy for two different, I mean, you might have, but there are ways to implement it, but essentially it's just for a single
Not a
object.
best practice kind of.
Yeah, right.
Is everyone clear?
Yeah. I have a question, not regarding this, related to something else.
Yes.
And before asking this question, I would like to mention this, like the answer might seem obvious to many, but not obvious to me. So that's why I'm asking this one, right? It's a combination of both the knowledge we have gained in HLD and LLD. It's a combination of both. And it all came from the discussion that in the beginning of IRCTC, when we were talking about the design first, we were saying that we can have a system where we will have the first IRCTC and everything, the request will come and that. And then after that, based on that, we can have, let's say, our journey. So we can have like flight or train or something like that. Under that, we will have tickets. But as during the discussion, Tanmay mentioned that we can have it the reverse way as well, right? That we will have the flight. Under the flight, we will have the train or the so not flight. We will have the ticket. Under the ticket, we will have the flight or train or something like that. So in one case, we are putting the flight as the vehicle as the center. In another case, we are putting the ticket as the center. Now, my question is, when we are designing all of these classes, should we keep into consideration how we are going to structure it in microservice structure as well? For example, if I think of a system where I am thinking later on down the line, I would like to move this whole booking system to a separate part. Probably I will go with ticket to be the center. But if I'm not thinking that, then probably for making more usability, like ease of understanding, I would go with the vehicle to be the center and then ticket to be under vehicle. Is my thought process correct? Like, should the class creation process be dependent on microservice structure, which we are thinking to be there in the future?
Right.
Yeah, that was the first question I asked in the first class, and you said we're not going to HLD, right?
See, the thing is, in HLD, what is going to happen is that we know that, okay, there are microservices. Okay, one microservice is responsible for something. Now, suppose we have one microservice for booking, one microservice for payment, one microservice for, say, just like train management or train journey management or something like that. Okay, so suppose there are different microservices. Now, you remember in HLD, we had discussed that we also want these microservices to be able to communicate like they are calling a function, basically like gRPC itself.
Yeah, correct.
gRPC was one way that we did it. You remember, we also talked about converting monolith to microservices and how we did that. We made sure that our first code is modular. Then we just pick up few classes, put it in a different microservice. Correct?
Yeah. Strangler fig pattern. Yeah.
Yes. We talked about the various patterns for that. Now, see, when your code is very modular, initially when you think of low-level system design, think as if everything is monolith. How would you design a modular extensible system? But if it is modular, if it is extensible, if you want to convert your monolith to microservices, how you will do it? Just pick up a few classes, put it over there, and you can use the function as your API, sort of gRPC, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's working same, yeah.
Yeah. So see, the point is, first, usually in real systems, what happens is first we do the high-level system design, then we do the low-level system design. In real scenarios, that is what the case is. But in reality, this also happens that we have a monolith and we have to convert into microservices. Correct? So view both of them separately. Whenever you write code, write as if you want to keep everything as extensible, as maintainable. Tomorrow, if you have to move all of this to another microservice, tomorrow, if this class has to be managed by another team, instead of thinking of microservices, because there are a lot of people who do not know HLD over here, that is why I don't want to go into those terms. But the point is that think of it how you are keeping it extensible, maintainable. If you have a few classes right now, and I want suppose right now your team is taking care of, say, train management as well as of, say, payment, and someone else comes, like now it has become huge, and you want payment to be taken care by some other team. You should be able to just pick up a few classes, like, okay, these classes will be worked on by this team. Think of it like that, and you're essentially doing the same thing.
So okay, from this discussion, I can take like, instead of thinking how to structure classes to fit microservice, I can think how to structure classes so that it is self-sufficient. Then
Yeah.
later on, I can do anything with it.
Yep, it is extensible, maintainable, modular, all of that. Like if new, like always think of these things, like in very simple terms, okay? If not keeping it like jargon wise, nothing like that. Think of it like this, ki I leave the company, 5 years down the line, someone comes, will they be able to understand what is happening?
Yeah, got it.
Will I be able to add new features, right? So you should be able to ask these questions. It is nice that, you know, I am talking about such serious things and then I look at the chat and then there's a random discussion going on. But okay, cool. So the point is that, what was I saying? Sorry. So think of it like if you leave the company and then if someone else comes, will they be able to add new features? Will it still be extensible? If someone else, if there are like multiple teams working on a particular feature, is it like that level properly that, you know, suppose in login itself, there can be different types of login, right? Suppose there is OTP, there is email login. Now, suppose changes have come in the way the email login ones and the way OTP login ones. Now, two teams should be able to do it simultaneously. So now the base class might be same, but both of them are pushing code to separate classes. Think of it like that, like simple, right? I'm not even using any jargon. Just think of it like if you are working in two teams, there should be no Git issues. Think of it like that, right?
Agile way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I understand this HLD, LLD wala happens, but for HLD students, at least you can think of, you know, there also we were doing essentially the same thing, just dividing our modular code to microservices. And we actually talked about how to do it, right? So the base as like, especially SD1, SD2, SD3 is how to write the modular code, right? Because high level system design, in the end, there are some architects, team leads, and all of them are doing it for us. It is good for our understanding ki what is happening end to end. But in the end, we are not doing high level system design. What are we doing as SD1, SD2, SD3? We are doing LLD. Okay, cool. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. And especially these 50, 100 people who have been attending, you know, till the end. Like, I know it is almost like more than 11:30. So for those who are still there, so thank you so much for being so consistent, for being so regular. Really means a lot to me. But please show up for the last week also. I hope now it doesn't feel like I am teaching a lot of new concepts, right? Now it just feels like revision, discussion, and all of this, right? So next week will also be like this. It will be sort of chill, but also interesting. So please do show up and please ask questions on Discord.
What are the patterns you're having for next week? Oh, sorry.
Systems.
Systems.
So it is mentioned on the site. There is. Let me give you the link of the site again.
I do have that, but
could you also add any e-commerce or the regular applications, at least one system design, either Uber or you know, Swiggy or
the thing is, both Uber and Swiggy I've done extensively for free on the channel. Like everything is there with the code, everything is there. Like it is available for free only, right? So you can watch it, you can ask the questions. Yeah. So it is there. Like so Swiggy was the one that I had covered in the boot camp. So everything is done like just like how we discussed, right? UML is there, code is there. I've explained it properly. Check it out. Let me know.
Sure.
Cool.
Thank you so
Next
much.
week we are doing just one sec. Next week we are doing recommendation system design and meeting scheduler design. It is also mentioned on this site. The curriculum is there. Please check it out there.
recommendation and meetings, right?
Meeting scheduler like Google Calendar.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, I have one question. So we use this manager, right, where we'll have ID and like corresponding thing. Like, why do we use this instead of directly storing that object itself? It will be reference anyhow. So in actual projects, I have not used that way. We used to store the actual objects. That's why I'm asking.
See, in reality, you will be using DB instances, right? And you will be using one singleton instance that you will be connecting to the DB, right? Think of it like that only. But because in LLD there is no DB, we are storing in memory, right? Like think of it like a cache. So think of it like, suppose in elevator, there is not going to be any DB. It is a standalone system. There is no DB, right? Everything is in memory.
Sure.
Right?
Thank
In
you.
that case, you can think of it.
Sure. One other question I had regarding the DSP. So why these topics? Like, will you be like, giving an overview of what all the other topics we have to study apart from this?
These are the most important topics. Other than this, there are
Okay.
2 topics. There's Windows search, there's Windows sliding, and there's binary search. Binary search I've covered very extensively on channel, and Windows sliding is not that important. Like, it is important, but it is not that complex. I feel I'll end up covering it in one of the other questions. If not, I'll help you out. But the main topics, the main problems where people get stuck are these 4. So I mentioned these 4. But whatever topics are common in interviews and all of that, we will be covering. The point of mentioning these 4 topics was that people don't expect that we'll start from arrays, lists, linked lists. I won't be covering those. But all the important algorithms that are there, because those become very basic. I did this in recursion DP that I said ki there will be not much of requirements and you can come. And they were absolute beginners. So that is why I mentioned ki this is not for absolute beginners. If you know arrays, lists, maps, then come. Because otherwise, the others are also slowed down and they get bored, right? Otherwise, we'll be covering all the important algorithms.
Other than arrays, lists, map, is there any other prerequisite other than those 3?
No.
Okay.
And also not like you should know properly arrays, list, map, like basics of it. Can you use them? Do you know what is it? Enough.
So Kirti, would you discuss unordered maps and all in the course? So unordered lists or
I won't go into details. I will just tell that, okay, this is where you use it. This is where you use it. I won't be discussing in details ki why, how is it happening internally. I will be like asking, like when I'm preparing you for interview, I will tell you ki like in unordered map, this is a very common question. Why would you use this order of 1? In map, why would you use this order of login like this, right? Unordered versus ordered. So during the questions, during discussing the discussions of the optimizations and all of this will be covered. But will I be explaining ki, this is ordered map, this is unordered map from the starting? Will it be like a separate topic? No. You have to know basics. I will be covering from there.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Because then it becomes like I have to take a separate class of maps, of STL. Then
actually, just like in this LLD, you have covered in the first class, right? Solid and what was the other one? Yeah, UML, I guess. So just like
like one class for the short recap kind of.
Yeah, like just a brief, probably that way.
See, I am saying like this because I don't want absolute beginners to come. But in the end, I will end up covering everything. So
sure.
You know me, when you ask, I end up covering. And if you need extra classes also, I'll probably, like for the beginners, I can probably help you out separately also. But I don't want to set the expectation ki in the class I'll be teaching from absolute beginning. That is the point.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Kirti, ML DS के लिए relevant नहीं है ना DSA? I'm just asking. Is there some companies which ask this?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kirti, for DSA, will the timings be same or is there any plan of change?
Yeah, 9 to 11. Yeah, just the additional day, one more day, Monday. That's all.
I know that will be intense, guys, but I see DSA more like solving puzzles, honestly. I too enjoy DSA because in LLD, HLD, you are learning there's a lot of theory and all of this, but I think in DSA, you'll be actually writing the code. So it is more of puzzles. Plus, it is just 6 weeks. I did not want to elongate because I got mails that you could have kept it 3 days a week and you could have kept it longer. But then you will not show up. I know that after 6 weeks, it will just become too long and people will not show up. So if those who want to show up, like you guys are showing up, right? Even though it is more than 11:30, you guys are still here. So for those who are interested, I know will come. And that is why I like paid courses also, because the discussions are from the people who are genuinely interested, who want to learn. So you guys also help each other out. There are not people who talk about random things. So that is why I like it like this.
And for this LLD, for interview perspective, see, what are the list of systems that I need to do, like one e-commerce system like that? Can you
So
explain
someone
that?
had said in the starting of the class also to share like a list of common questions. I will share a list of the common questions over the weekend, and I will add it in the content section also, the common questions that are asked. Also different interview experiences I'll share on Discord. There's a separate channel, interview prep. You also, if you have had any interview experiences, share on that. Now, like we are almost at the end of the course, right? Now is the time when we can do all of these discussions.
Sure, thank you.
Cool. Any other questions? Okay.
No, Kirti, that's it. Thank you so much.
Please
staying
do sign
so
up
long.
for DSA if you guys are interested. Okay. And let me know if you have any other ideas or anything else. And please do share with your friends. Even if you don't want to sign up, it is okay. Please do share with your friends if you like the course. And please help me spread the word. Sorry? Okay, I guess that was my mistake. Okay. Everyone, good night. Have a very good weekend. See you next week. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, ma'am. Good night, sir.